Stream of the year is about to begin. Hope you're ready for one stream about to start. Only one. Ha! One. Hi, I'm Chris. I'm Vangelis on the internet, and I'm streaming right now. That's why you can hear me. Unless you're watching the VOD, in which case I was streaming just then. That's why you can hear me. I got a little bit of a halo going on. That's gonna happen. That's gonna happen. Hello. Hi, Ben Walters. Hi, VRiderCH. Hi, Simeon Scott. Hi, Vanisher. Hi, Chris Muse. Hi, Philip Fabian. Hi, Logos Miner. Hi, Daigo Souza. Hi, Zimman2. Hi, JT Elm. Hi there, an army of bees. Lano Joe 87. Hello. Tombot 74. Hello. How's it going? One. We got stuff to open up today. I had a different thing in mind for today. Because, basically, the other day, I got a phone call I didn't pick up, and I saw it go to voicemail, and I was like, oh, it's from the GameStop. It must be Studio Series Swoop. Because it said he comes out August 1st. Hooray! Studio Series Swoop will arrive before I go on my 3-week sudden trip out west. How great. Anyway, Studio Series Swoop has been bumped back to coming out 3 days after I leave for 3 weeks. I guess... Anyway. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the GameStop Canada swoops. I hope that I can get them to just hang on to it for 15 business days rather than 5. I have to call them when it shows up. Because who knows, maybe it'll get delayed again. I would like for Swoop to be delayed 3 weeks for the entire country. For my convenience. Thank you. A Halo, you say? Like the smash hit streaming series. Zimman, too. Exactly. It's right up here. John Bernthal is right up here telling me they killed my family! Studio Series Swoop is being sold in Toys R Us, but he's being sold for almost $90. That's because Sunrise Records guy is going through another one of those periods. Toys R Us is not a good place to shop again because Sunrise Records guy thinks that he can turn it into a joint HMV to sell vinyl records. So all of the toy prices have shot back up to Sunrise Records prices. Simeon Scott, first time I'm unboxing while watching an unboxing stream. Classified Ganaga hide came in today. After months of me wondering if Walmart would actually give him to me for the $25 they mislisted him. I think I saw a Ganaga hide at the GameStop today. Is he the one who comes with 2 animals? Like a pig and then a monkey? And one of the animals is actually just named Yabo? And I kind of stared at it because, like, I'm sure it's not. But I picked up this action figure package that said G.I. Joe featuring Yabo. And I was like, is that a slur? It just sounds like one. Lana Joe, they have a price match deal. I mean, if you can get them to price match to GameStop, then hell yeah. But he's I can't believe it's not Kraven the Hunter. Okay, because I know they just announced one who's coming with like a dog or something, and I thought that was also Ganaga hide because I can't remember all the Dreadnoks look the same to me. They're all funny and got stupid names. If I had more money to collect them just for laughs, I probably would. But I have not yet bought Big Boa, and I missed Crocmaster. So like, you know, I think my classified era kind of began and ended with the Cobra Commanders and the Destros. Okay, that guy's Road Pig. Okay. Anyway, what else is going on? I have a new coupon code. In fact, I just made it because I realized about 10 minutes ago, oh no, I forgot to make the coupon code. So I'm going to actually show it on screen now that it's live and I can show you a graphic. Hey, browser. Is it going to be the correct browser? I should have checked this first. It is! Hooray! So there it is. It's the code for this month on Toy Hacks is 40th Vaniversary. It's in celebration of me, because it's my birthday month, and this month I turned Transformers years old. It's not August. That's going to be for some other time. August, listen, I'm bigger than August, okay? August might be in, like, 2027, when we've run out of more, you know, me-related things to use for August, but it's the 40th anniversary. Thank you all I appreciate that I am getting congratulations on being alive. I did it. Yeah, that's the coupon code. Of course, as we always say, you know, using that code, feeds the machine. I get a kickback every time that code gets used, and that kickback helps me pay for my utilities. Thank you, Chris Muse, for the early birthday. Yeah, my birthday's gotten very weird very suddenly. I've decided that I will simply celebrate my birthday from this August until next August. That's the most reasonable way to go about how things have been going. My 40th meat vessel. Well, I only replace it like every handful of years. Why not get a shrapnel from it? From living? All dreadnoughts look. Oh, Brian, I think you're behind slightly. Make sure it says live on the bottom. I've seen that happen to when I've been watching streams recently. Oh, instead of kickback. Well, yeah, I mean, I get shrapnel anyway. That's just what I get from walking outside. I actually recently, you know, when a new shoes scuff the back of your Achilles, right? To the point where maybe it's about to get cut open. So I got these Skechers that are not new. And that started happening on my left Achilles, and I'm just like, why? You're not new shoes. And you're soft as the selling point. Why is this happening to me? Anyway, I'll fix it later. But yeah, there is the coupon code. And there's me again. So man, on the dread, they're called the Dreadnoks. It's with a K. Listen, I'm disrespecting them heavily, but I will say I do know they're called the Dreadnoks, not the Dreadnoughts. They're not from Warhammer 40,000. That said, I also didn't remember that one was called Road Pig. I just know there's Zartan and Zarana because they're the siblings, and Tomax and Zamot are not Dreadnoks because I always think they are, but they're not. And then I now remember Gnogahide because his name is funny, and I rewatched a clip of the Resurrection of Cobra Commander in the Deke era of G.I. Joe, and apparently Gnogahide is was suddenly the Dreadnought everyone talked to. It says it says Road Pick, but it says Dreadnoks with a CK down there. Don't forget Zarana's twin, Zanzubar. I don't even know if you're making that up, because I know they've added Dreadnoks here and there. Do I have a Cobra Law character? I like all of them. I haven't even read the comic books, by the way. I'm behind on all the comic books. I just happen to be a Cobra Law fan. So I would like to pick up that new classified Nemesis Enforcer, if it comes out reasonably for me at the time when it comes out, if I can afford it, etc., etc. You swear that's real, Zanzubar. Because, everyone started using... Okay. Everyone started using a meme term, right? But, dead seriously as a trope name. So, every couple days, I see someone with a straight face say, Glup Shito. And I'm like... just because everyone's saying it doesn't mean you have to say it. I remember Xandar, but I didn't remember there also being a Zanzibar. Anyway, I have some stuff to box shred. I gotta get myself on topic here. Because... One! This is the Prime Changers Optimus Prime / Orion packs from Transformers 1. That's an interesting thing to do with the name, because I was like, oh, does he have 2 robot modes? And it's like, no, he doesn't. He has 20 steps. But then I saw he has a Matrix, and I saw that it seems like he's holding an orb full of axe. Anyway, I saw these today, and I was like, wow. Ages 6 and up. Also, no windows, so we can open this properly, hardcore style. Already did my B-roll. So we can just get to it. Imagine how there's going to eventually be an era where I can't do that to open toy packaging once they put windows back. But yeah, these are the new Warrior adjacent, which honestly look more deluxe than Warrior has ever looked. Dude's got silver paint on his thighs. Yeah, an orb full of axe is it's what it looks like to me. Let me get it out here. Oh no, this is all complicated. Hang on. This is I don't want to use clippers. I'm too whatever. I was about to say I'm a grown-up boy, I don't have to, but you know what? I'm a grown-up boy, I can do whatever I want. But yeah, this looks like an orb comes out of his palm and just spreads all his fingers open, and then axe comes out of it. It's a weird look, but I kind of like it. It's got a visual logic to it. Oh, there's all these little plastic tabs out of the way. Yeah, you see, it's literally a hand holding an orb. It's so friggin' weird. Also, Alex saying Alphatron's the most core class looking deluxe I've ever seen. You haven't seen some of the warrior class. But also, it's worth noting, like, yeah, these are not deluxes. They are prime changers. Much like warrior class was not deluxes, they were warrior class. I think it's important to keep that in mind, because even though they are like deluxes, like it or not, it explains away, like, some of the parts where maybe they don't feel like current deluxes. These things are feeling really weirdly... That's 5mm, but that's got a... Oh, I know why, because the actual 5mm part's just this ring up here. I was like, why does that feel like the peg doesn't exist until I get it there? It's because the peg doesn't exist till I get it there. They are more expensive than Studio Series Deluxes here. That happened to Warrior Class... not Warrior... No, that actually briefly happened to Warrior Class at Canadian Walmarts, if I remember right. But that also briefly happened with the Rise of the Beasts dedicated line over here at Walmart as well. And it got corrected, like, 2 months later. It was so friggin' weird. I was about to say, dang, these ankle tilts, they're just sculpted. But whatever. So he's just an axe wielder. Well, where's the thingamy? Is it already in his stomach? Anyway, it's so weird looking. It just looks like he's palming it. Like, that would be a terrible way to swing an axe. To hold it like this and swing it. How loose are the wrist joints on mine? They don't feel tight, but they're not sagging to gravity. Or I flicked it a bunch and it made it go down. So yeah, they're not on, like, the tight end, but I wouldn't call them, like, super loose, I guess. Alternator tracks was only 20 bucks. I think alternators were 30 bucks. I think he might have been on sale for 20, but I could have sworn the alternator price point was 30 bucks. Maybe in Canada it was. It's all a weird, like, crisscrossed mush in my memory now that I've been doing those news streams from 2003. What are my hopes and fears for TF1? Did I not do it? No, I tried to give people some media literacy education, and everyone was like, it's so funny how you're talking complete nonsense through the entire trailer, and I was like, yeah, except for anything that wasn't Transformers factoids. Y'all gotta read a book! There's a Matrix in here, right? How do I get out? I gotta go up? Show me where is the nipple? Because, for reference, the Transformers 1 trailer video I put out, I am, for the most part, there it is, I am, for the most part, not doing a bit, necessarily. The only bit I'm doing is I was purposefully getting Transformers factoids wrong to annoy people for a bit. But, actually talking about how trailers are structured and what the content of that teaser was, I was actually doing that for that video. If you don't believe me, go watch it again. Because also, I like it when people go to watch videos again. Yeah, that Matrix is in an odd spot. Timu says, many of the cinematography jokes were real advice I was given in my photography course. Yeah, like, part of the reason I did that video, it's hard to get the axe back out, is because, like, I get kind of a hang-up about the way people talk about trailers in fandoms on YouTube, which is like, you know, for the sake of a glitzy title, you know, there's a whole lot of like, so does this mean they are for sure doing this, and that this scene is this? And it's like, we gotta all get a bit better at spotting how, like, trailers are cut in a very specific way, and that even sequences in trailers are assembled from disparate sequences at times. Like when I went on about the, you know, the where's my head or whatever, we're all transforming bit, and then, like, you can, if you frame by frame, you can literally see they're using clips from different scenes with that audio, and it actually doesn't make any sense. Also, no, I mean, it is a bit mean, Zim Man. I'll say, like, there are a lot of Transformers fans who do understand film. It's just that it's not Transformers fans, it is fans. Media literacy is at a you know, devastating low of all time, and I'm not here to fix that necessarily, but I want to do my parts when they're relevant to my little industries. There's There's an AI trailer for a 50s live-action version of Transformers. No, I have not seen it. Those trailers that are made of generated slop, I generally don't go near because I don't want to reward that behavior. I went on that rant already a couple streams ago. But anything that uses generative garbage, I'm not going to call it AI because that's what it wants to be called. Anything that uses generative garbage, I generally avoid because, like I said, the more you look at it, the more you reward people for using garbage programs and trash software being peddled by the same guys who were trying to sell NFTs for 2 years. It's a very cool way to make the Matrix actually holdable by an action figure without, like, the silly, you know, this stuff. Yeah, also, like whenever people say they showed the whole movie, right? Sometimes trailers do that. So, trailers absolutely have done that. I think sometimes people are quicker to say they think a movie's done it than it actually has done it. I don't know how else to put it. Like, there is sort of an eye for spotting that, and I think, I don't want to be mean either, but, like, I think a lot of folks overestimate their ability to spot that. Which is fine. I overestimate my ability to do things all the time. I try not to, like, go out and just publicly scream it, though. Unless it's, like, you know, in a fun Discord channel. I'm just seeing how the articulation is. The articulation on this is like, very solid. The ball socket neck is doing a lot of work for me. I was, like, at first I thought it was a dead-ass swivel. Yeah, like the trailer for that one dog movie. I think I know the one you're talking about, because that sounds like one of the times where I have felt like, yeah, they kind of just showed the whole movie. Like, when you can spot all 3 acts, and even the climax, if not also the falling action, then it's kind of like, okay, maybe the trailer could have been 40 seconds shorter, and it probably still would have worked. Anyway, I'm going to try to transform this. It's merely 20 steps. Surely I can just pull it off. Good morning, PT. The sad part is, right? You'd think that would at least make the movie's title memorable. But the two of us who can remember it, I guess TZN, you said you saw it. But, like, the two of us who are even remembering this also don't seem to recall the name of the film. It's just the dog movie that gave away the whole movie in the trailer. So it's like, what did you accomplish? Unfortunately, probably nothing that you were supposed to. But also, maybe that was some folks who were just sick of working on those trailers. I don't know. There could be a silver lining. Is it Call of the Wild? I don't know. I genuinely don't remember its name. The Isle of Dogs. Oh my god, I'm on fire. That's also why I also... Unless you've sort of developed a certain sense for things, or, you know, it's a certain contextual project, I would never... I guess I'll use the word judge, although I kind of don't want to, but I would never make a call on a movie based on a trailer. Like, especially a first trailer, and especially for a kid's movie. I think that the head can rotate and lean back. I just want to see if it can. Yes, it can. Okay. Because, like, there are a lot of perfectly good movies, and especially if they are being levied at kids, the trailers are probably going to be very, I guess the word I'll use is loud, slash insufferable, slash cloying, whole lot of vocabulary I'm kind of pulling out of my butt there, but... Was it A Dog's Way Home? I honestly... I don't know. I don't know what the movie was called. I just remember, oh, it's so messed up that they're just showing the entire movie for free, is all I remember. Was it Spaceballs? There you go, you got it. Okay, Griffman has checked. It's A Dog's Way Home. Okay. Did it have Mark Wahlberg? I don't know. This is all getting well outside of my pay grade. I'm just here. I am contractually obligated to transform this Transformers 1 Prime Changer Optimus Prime. I'm hired by Ubisoft for the event. Wait a second. What is up with these two extremely disparate tabs staring at me? I can't believe The Dark Knight gave away the whole movie, especially the dogs. Messed up and honestly also kind of stupid. I missed the size class and I said Prime Changers. Sorry, does it say it somewhere in here? Is it somewhere on the box? It says Prime Changers. Also, I don't know if you all know this or have seen this, but the box art here on the side, if you look really carefully, Optimus Prime there has got one eye slightly bigger than the other, so he's pulling the DreamWorks eye quirk. I think it's very funny. The eye on the right is squinting slightly compared to the eye on the left. How many syllables? I didn't count. Oh, wait a second. What? Do these... How the hell... There's so many slots! Okay, so it does go like that. Does it? Did I just neglect to transform the legs? I think I didn't notice there was a flap there. Because it's a Prime Changer, I just kind of thought the legs were going to hang out like that. Alright. Never mind. That's on me? That's me being unfair to the kitty toy. Wait. I didn't have to swivel the waist! After all that turmoil? After bumping it past all the mush? What was that? Hang on. That's embarrassing. He just puked his Matrix out. in actual disbelief. Why didn't they call them Prime Converters? Honestly, that's a good question. Honestly, I'm mad about that. Slap to the face of the true fans. Will I be buying any of the Race Changers? I thought were they called Race Changers or Race Masters? Or is that just the Power Core guy? I would like to be given, as a review sample, the Transformers 1 race toys. I would like to be handed them as a sample. No, they're definitely called something awful. I think Race Changer is the real name. They're basically bot shots. Oh, that's really nice. Sorry, that all actually, like, mushes together super tight. Oh, there's even, like, a slope back there. I like that. And, oh, okay, so I was supposed to put this in between. Well, you know, it can't rain every day. I mean, all the time. You can't... I am the Crow. There we go. And so I guess we could put those up if you Beep, beep. He rolls and everything. That's cool. I like the shape. I've gone on about it many times, so many of you probably already know this. I like Cybertronian alt modes. I disagree with the notion that they are nothing. As long as they have functional shape. This one, I think, has functional shape. That's right, PT. He's hauling axe! I'll face forward. Souk's not real, though. Souk is an amusement park. It's a... Why do I have windows? It's so he can see. It's so he can see where he's driving. Have you never looked at a car and gone like, there's the eyes? Before whatever company's Cars. I haven't seen any of the Cars movies. Don't ask me these things. The most I know about Cars is one time at Con Bravo, I sat in on a midnight fan fiction reading of smut fan fictions, and it was a Cars one where the Junker Hick car had tentacles, and that's everything I know about the Cars movies. Because I was gonna go to bed. I was just gonna peek in on that panel and go to bed. But then they were like, "We're gonna read some Cars fan fiction," and I was like, "Well, I gotta know how this works." And yeah, Mater, that's his name. And so Mater had Lightning McQueen in like chained bondage and then deployed tentacles in order to do the thing. And I was like, "That's very creative." A little lazy, but very creative. Simeon Scott, how do they make new cars in Cars? I just told you, Mater deploys his tentacles. Sure, it wasn't a crossover fanfic with the film Monster Trucks. No, it was very pointedly Mater's tentacles. Mater was like, "Finally, Lightning McQueen, I have you where I want you." And Lightning McQueen's exhaust pipe, like, burst open from the sheer girth, etc., etc. I mean, this is all old hat. We've all read those. You're a bad car. His matrix keeps falling out. That's so embarrassing. Robot Lorekeeper, I've seen people say they headcanon vehicle windows in Cybertron as holdover from when they were servants to the Quintessons, and one is pretty obviously set in a continuity where that happens. Yeah, I mean, there is literally a Quintesson toy out. You know, that's... It's on shelves. Like, I could see that being a thing. I think also it's just I think we also just kind of accept Cybertronian forms have, like, stuff that could reformat into a cockpit if it's not already a cockpit. And there are countless reasons why they might have a cockpit in there. You know, working with smaller life forms, working with smaller Cybertronians. Is there somewhere that this can go? Oh, I was wondering about this slot. So you can tab this onto his back and have a grabby hand ethereally erupting out of his ass. That's very cool. Also, his ass has got both a 3mm port and a 5mm port. I have not seen that in a while, if at all, on Transformers. He can take, like, either kind of peg straight in the rear for display stand action. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, I also like the idea of cosmic coincidence. That's something I wish Transformers had written in more, is, like, when they arrive on Earth, and they see cockpits and driver seats and windows and how it's all arranged, they all, like, look down at their own boobs, and they're just like, what? What a coincidence! And then just never bring it up again. Like, it turns out a part of Cybertronian technobiology just happens to look a lot like cockpits and windows. And so, when they show up on, like, a planet Earth, for instance, it just happens to be where... Yeah, exactly. TZM Optimus is like, oh, this will be easy, wow. Yeah, they're just like, huh, well, all right, well, thought this was going to be difficult. Alano Joe 87, I thought you were talking about Windows 11 or something. That's like a well-meaning Cybertronian installs Windows 11 into their own internal OS, trying to fit in with the humans, and then they're just like, what the hell is this search engine thing? But, you know, someone else brought it up, so let's find out ourselves. How core is this not Warrior or Deluxe? It's Alpha Trion. It's he was in the thumbnail too. See, it's Chris Hemsworth and Lawrence Fishburne. They're both hanging out together like two boys. So let's find out. Yeah, I mean, there are smaller Cybertronians all over the place, but I also really like the idea. Now I'm selling myself on the idea that, like, in some continuity, it's just that is a complete coincidence. It just so happens that's what is on a lot of the front of Cybertronian alt modes. Alpha Lion, more like. I mean, like, what year is it? 2004 again, or whatever year it was when they did the Purple Lion Alphatron at the Box. I don't remember. Ark, contemplating starting to open my box like that. Do you open like that normally or only for the stream? I don't actually open a lot of Transformers not on stream now. But when I don't open them on stream, I actually open them this way anyway because it's less work. If there's no window. So, like, for instance, when I was out west last time and I had some Studio Series stuff that I wasn't streaming right away, or that I didn't stream at all, I was like, oh, I'm still going to do this because it's less work. And I'm recycling all this stuff anyway. So why not? Like, why do I have to be precious? Of course they're alive. They have windscreens. Oh, was that in the Budiansky comic? Like... Oh, sorry, you're talking about Sky Spy, quote, mistaking cars for the dominant life form. That makes sense. Oh, Face, you're tearing boxes open like this too. Yeah, it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun. Also, is he doing it? No, you see, his eyes are symmetrical and wise. He's not doing a funny squint. Yeah, Prime Changers are now, I guess, our main source of windowless boxes. Alright, I didn't know that, because I haven't looked at much stuff that wasn't the trailers. I didn't really realize Alphatron kind of has a cape going on still. And what a creative way to do the cape, to be honest. Like, hey, we got all this lion mass, where are we going to integrate it? What if we just make it cape-shaped from this side? That's kind of neat. This Alphatrion's face looks like a Bionicle G2 mask. I wouldn't know, but... Oh, Flame War 5, I have terrible servers right now. Oh, boy. My apologies. On behalf of your ISP, for being a bunch of bunkum! What is this little thing? On the instructions, it's the thing he's holding. He's got an alpha cape on. Horn? Why is he holding it? It's like... Tail sword! Penetrator horn! Like, you were all... Someone was gonna write the joke. We're just getting it out of the way. Okay, I'm ruining it so that no one else does it. Knife 1 and Knife 2. It's one of those little yogurt tubes. Delicious. It'd be really funny if it was like, well, Optimus Prime, your destiny has come to pass. And so, eons of Cybertronian history will take place. I have seen it all as one of the Oracle Type 13. Delicious. Yeah, well, now you're all doing it. Now you're all doing it. Transformers 1 introduces DP into the canon. Holy moly. I do kind of like, it's his sex toy, don't be weird about it. Yo, ankle tilts! Sorry, I just noticed this. It doesn't have to be weird. Yeah, you're right. You know what? If you're a nigh-eternal entity, like I believe this Alphatron probably is going to be if they're doing Magic Transformers the 13, then you just get to have one. You get to walk around and just wave it around at people, because whatever, what are they going to do? You're like millions of years old. It's like, ooh, Alphatron, what's that? It's my dildo. What? There are so many more important things going on this planet right now, and you're hung up about the fact that I'm airing this one out. Alright? Get over it. We all do it, one way or another. High-end toy confirmed. We are eons past judging Alphatron. Prime Changer Orion has 2 bum holes, says Emperor Nova 01, while Alpha Trion has 2 suspicious pokey things. What did they mean by this? I don't know. I haven't seen the movie yet. They didn't have an advanced screening in Canada. Me and Toy Guy were sitting there watching a bunch of people that we know go to screenings in America and Australia, and we're just chilling out over here like, well, guess we can't. Tests must be made. Well, neither of these look like they can go in the 3mm. Like, the 3mm is just too tight no matter what. It's made of like, you know, it's a palm, it's rigid, it's a little bit give, but it's rigid. Like this one, it goes in as much as you like it to, right? Easy. But up here, it doesn't quite fit. So I don't know, you know, what the... Not so Alex, they had a screening near me, but tickets ran out. Aw, I'm sorry. Alphatron has a belly button for some reason. I wonder if this... Gotta stretch it out. I'm not stress marking my... You can stretch out your Orion Pack / Optimus Prime. It fits in there, too. It's not 5mm. It only fits the tip. Is that, like, where it erupts from? Like, he's like, and he catches it, and he's like, got a fresh one. Can't expect anything to take first try. Literal Optimus Prime. Maybe I got higher standards, alright? Why are we molesting Orion? Well, someone said I have to test it. And yeah, this is obviously thicker. Like, we don't need to bother. Mosotron, no, I wasn't, no, I was just using the little, you know, he comes with this especially so it can fit into holes, right? It's so he can unlock the power of the 13 and activate his, whatever, transformation cog. You'd be surprised by belly button kinks. Well, I guess I would be. This actually does look like it's rebulkheading right out of the hole, doesn't it? It's almost a perfect angle to do... There. He's rebulkheading this right out of his belly button. Going to show this stream to evangelists and future employers. That's why I am a freelancer. Oh, TZM, sorry, I just saw the caps lock post. I like that that was the caps lock post. Anyway, I'm going to put this away for a second. I'm going to try to turn him into a lion. And now that I've seen that the Prime Changers are able to do, like, a fairly decent amount of transforming, I'm also having a moment of how much does this transform into a lion? Oh, Simeon, that's great to hear. Yeah, Simeon had asked me for some... asked me some questions with regards to the world of freelance videoing. I'm glad to hear stuff is moving forward, ideally fairly and equitably. Wait, there's a hatch here. This is... Yeah! Alright, now we got a little quadruped wedge to stand on. Trickster, what's up? Yeah, it's Alpha Lion. Alpha... Listen, science is science. Sometimes the people have to know, so that we can be better prepared for whatever may come as a result. I'm not sure if I was supposed to do a waist turn again. I'm having a moment. I wasn't supposed to do a waist turn again. Never do the... I'm so used to the era of every Transformer doing a 180-degree waist switch, and now, like, they constantly aren't doing them, and I'm like, well, egg on my face. It's like Samuel L. Jackson from The Spirit. Egg on my face! I don't like egg on my face! How deep does this... Okay, how... Does this slot in? No, that was for the robot mode. Okay, so that pegs into itself, and then I guess... Wait, was I supposed to do the 180? No, that doesn't change this. This is still the same. What was the design intent? Okay, clearly this is supposed to collapse like this because there's a soft detent. So maybe this is just supposed to go forward more. Yeah, Primal walking his legs around in Beast Wars was some... Like, that was some top-level animation direction. No mouth. Alright, I'm gonna check. I'm gonna check what they want the legs to do. You can store the weapons in the cape! Okay, I gotta try that. I gotta try that later. Okay, so these are just droop. This is the lion mode. These just droop down. And yeah, here, this is where his horn goes. Oh, it's supposed to close around it. When it is a lion's biological horn, then it does not penetrate anything. It is instead clasped. Because as we all know, Alpha Trion is also low-key a unicorn. TZM, what are we doing talking about Nexus Maximus? That's not happening in that movie. I think that's happening in the toy line afterwards. Zimman2 saying, I believe you are the first person ever to use Frank Miller's The Spirit as a cultural reference point. The only thing I remember about that movie is how resonant the egg on my face scene was. I don't remember almost anything else that happens in that movie. I just remember being enraptured by the sight of Samuel L. Jackson stuffing the entire set into his mouth and just devouring the notion of screaming, I don't like egg on my face, for like 30 minutes is how long that scene felt, but like non-derogatory. It's kind of messed up that this thing is also, like, just in plunge position sticking out of his forehead. Simeon Scott, I forgot about Nexus Maximus and had to Google. Well, if you Googled Nexus Maximus, you might have still found the old one. Oh, this ankle tilt, okay, so this is functional for the robot mode, but this also allows the lion to actually have, like, a slightly wider stance on the back legs to match the front legs. I kind of like that. And there's a functioning thigh swivel back there. So, not a super posable quadruped mode, but, like, more posable than it just forms quadruped and you're done. He still has fist holes. Yeah, you could have him carrying just stuff. There's holes here on the thighs as well, I think. Oh, those are hella tight. No, those aren't. I don't think those are functioning holes. So yeah, that works. Okay, you can kind of ram one in there, but it doesn't feel good. I think they painted the inside, and it's making it less functional as a whole. Give him cowboy spurs. He lacks holes back here. Can only have him on the front ones. Would you say you can make him a battle unicorn? Well, I mean that's silly. Unicorns are based on horses. This simply has the lion's biological horn, as we all know. Now, as all lions do, this one has a horn. I want to go back to bot mode because I want to see where I can store the weapons in the cape, because I think that's kind of low-key ingenious. Also, for the leg side by side, for those who want to see, there's lion leg to robot leg. I think that's pretty solid. Yeah, the horns that lions are known for, yes. Never heard of manticores. I only talk about science here. I'm not here to talk about fan fiction. Worth noting, by the way, there's a swivel above the elbow joint and below the elbow joint, which functions as a wrist swivel. That's some pretty decent articulation. Damn science hippies, look. You want me to be some other kind of hippie? I could be whatever hippie. I just choose to be a science one. The peeling of this open, these pegs are so small. This feels very retro toy where you rip the pegs off doing that. I would like to be wrong. Okay, so I think you just put this into beast mode position. And then over here you can just stick this in like this. Let me double check that in the instructions. Oh, no, that's okay. Well, so you can just leave it in beast mode position. But they're like, no, use one of these little pegs here, because it fits on those too. And it's like, okay. So there's the storage. I still think that's pretty solid. Yeah, this one, like, doesn't transform quite as much as Orion does, but doing the swivel and swivel here on both sides of the elbow joint, as well as these ankle tilts, makes it feel like whoever designed this went like, well, he's not transforming much, let's load his articulation, because that's like waist, ball socket neck. These are, I think, yeah, big ball shoulders with a cut, so you can T-pose. There's a bicep, and then below the elbow joint is a gauntlet swivel that's basically a wrist swivel. Ronnie Lane, what's up? Got a waist joint, big ball hips, mushroom thigh, single knee that goes about 90, and then like ankle tilts. That's pretty solid. Can you plug the tail into the beast mode port? Yes, I believe you can, but it doesn't bend backwards. So it's real low hanger. That's gonna like just drag a divot in the ground wherever he's walking. It also kind of locks the waist joint. This is less tripod, more like monopod with two bracers attached. When are they going to do a... Oh, also, wait, no, sorry, it's a different port. Never mind. I thought this was using the same tab port, but it's not. It's clipping it above it. When are they going to do a really fancy, dramatic, capture-ass chrome repaint of this that's all covered in moss? I mean, I feel like, worst case, if this is the only, you know, kind of Transformer action figure they do for this Alpha Trion, it's a Wave 1 Prime Changer that isn't a Warrior / Deluxe, so, like, probably won't be hard to get one kind of cheap at some point, if you want to just go at it yourself. Put both weapons in one hand, small over big. Alright, Chris Muse. The pegs don't go all the way through, so it is very accommodating to dual wielding in one hand, Darth Maul style. That actually looks kind of neat. Walking stick. Damn! You're right, though. I'm just saying, if you want to do the Ollie's Ross weight on this, do it if you want to, like, cover one in moss and stuff. Ideally, it'll be feasible to get inexpensive copies of this for some customs. Because there, you know, lots of custom potential here. You can paint all the gray bits silver, for instance, just as a start. Wizard staff. Can the horn fit in the same port as the tail on his back? No. The horn does not have a tab. It only has these two little peg holes that match the peg holes that are all over the edges of the lion head / cape. But I mean, you get some hobby grade grass and moss. You can get plenty of that at any hobby store. Just put some PVA super glue on this dude. Dip him in, you know? He left the Fap Cave. That's correct, Oma Ender. Earlier I saw someone asking, hang on, it was Ark, are you going to get the Studio Series version of Orion / Optimus? That's a really good question. I've been trying to put my mind to that, and I'm trying to do some more manifest. Can one of Orion's arm thingies fit in the belly button? It should. Oh no, that's too tight. That belly button is not 5mm. That's like 4mm. It's too tight. And yeah, Zimman too, that's correct. We do call them goon caves now. But yeah, let's see. I guess I could manifest if I'm like, for the sake of academic comparison, I should manifest myself the Studio Series 112 A hero character Deluxe Class Studio Series Orion packs from Transformers 1. I should manifest it. I should manifest it. I should manifest it. There, we did it. Together, thanks to your prayers and the energy of the children of Earth, we were able to bring this about so that we can have the full comparison. Because this was the pre-order that came in that wasn't Swoop. So, let's get this open. Already filmed the packaging, don't worry. I'm not going to rip up the backdrop, though, because I need to film that still. You're about to say Magic GameStop? The power of manifesting is crazy! But yeah, this was my pre-order that came in. I did not see any on a shelf. So, over here, it seems like, in Toronto at least, this was absolute, like, pre-order core. There's the backdrop, by the way. It's supposed to be the Iacon Capital, I believe. We got branded tissue paper. We're living real here. Ooh. But also, this was the pre-order I picked up, and then the place I got it from had just one Alpha Trion, so I was like, perfect. But then the other GameStop across the street, because that's how we roll in Toronto, I guess, had 2 more Alpha Trions and 1 Optimus, and I was like, that Optimus looks like really just nice colors. I'm a YouTuber. I had the world's worst YouTuber instinct of like, I can make videos of both! Do all Studio Series toys have the fake-out background now? I think they do. Because I recall this being on bigger size classes, so I think this is just a thing now. The Ghost Town GameStop had new Transformers just for Transformers 1. They also had 2 strong arms. So they also had a whole bunch of the one-step changers. One-step changer Bumblebee actually looks like that toy might eat. Like, that toy might be actually a pretty damn good one-step changer. I couldn't tell what it does, because it looks like it has, like, a chest gimmick, but it's packaged in vehicle mode, and it looks tight. If it was sub $10, I would have picked it up, but it was 13 Canadian, so I was like, 13 for a one-step changer makes me feel sad, so I didn't. And they had the 2 mask Transformers. The Bumblebee one looks very unearned, is what I'll say. Yeah, the GameStops here kind of stopped getting Transformers, but then I guess, much like the Rise of the Beasts, they're loading up for the movie rush, because I keep forgetting that movie's coming out, like, next month. Sorry, did that bounce out? No, it didn't. Alright. The Bumblebee one is the same mold. Okay, because the Bumblebee mask is just a movie-ass Bumblebee. And I'm like, he, like, specifically doesn't have the gas cap mouth plate now. This mask seems kind of bunk. So something I noticed when I was carrying just the packaged toys over here is the Studio Series version of this feels notably heavier. Robot Lorekeeper, one-steps have been cooking since Earthspark. Damn. One-step changers that are innovative are, like, one of my secret guilt trip. Not guilt trip, sorry. That's a weird way to put it. Guilty pleasures. It's just I never want to buy them because they're, like... they're expensive enough where I'm like, for a one-step changer, man, come on! And so I chicken out. What is this thing? Okay, this is on, like, a friction hinge. This is a weird-ass way to do... like... It's friction pegged on to either side here. This is a friggin' weird way to do a skirt lift for leg articulation, because the whole thing goes up. His entire crotch lifts to reveal the same crotch. Like, would it look worse if this just wasn't there? Does that look much worse? That's just friggin' weird. It feels like a crossed wire. Unless this is like part of the bumper system or something for the vehicle mode, maybe? Tombot74, the stream never started from... Oh, welcome! Hey, the VOD's gonna be there, so... Alright, so we got this for a quote-unquote waist swivel. I don't mind those. He's got that, like, really thick-feeling plastic on the lower legs, like, the Legacy Cybertron hotshot, kind of like, between that and the knee feels so milkshake hand feel. Like, that's real, just thick, smooth motion. Did this lock down there? No, that's just friction. Okay. TZM. Autobots, yes. I am wearing a diaper. No, you cannot bring it up. This is the last I will mention it. Roll out! Poopy! I like the way the shoulder joints work. It plays nice with the design. His boob is just jutting on this one. Like, was it jutting that much on... No, this is a bit of a smoother boob. This one's boob is just, like, penetrating through the screen. It's like a 3D effect. No, I can't... Look, Zim, man, I can't start, like, stepping all over what, you know, a fine actor like that has to his name. Like, you gotta leave Daniel... Daniel Plainview is there. Whoa, hang on. That's not bad. Daniel Plainview is there for us to learn about cadence, but we gotta otherwise leave that alone. Any thoughts on the Brave Commander one, Optimus? It looks cool. The part where I'd have to order it online probably means I'm never going to get it, because that looks like the kind of toy I would find at a Walmart and go like, hype, I just got paid! If I have to like put the thought into ordering it, I'm probably going to forget it exists until like Toy Guy gets it, and then I'm like, bring it to a convention so I can touch it, and like I'll forget to do that. I don't know. That's what happened with that Rise of the Beast Optimus Primal. It looks like a super cool toy. It's just like I would want to find that on a shelf and be hyped to buy it. Buying it online is like just enough thought where I'm gonna be like, there's so many other things I would want to get though, and now I'm like assessing it too much. A3 just posted pre-orders for it. It's 120 Canadian. Oof. Also, Matrix. This Matrix has side tabs. Actually, I'm curious. Did they allot... Oh, wow! Okay. Never mind. I take it back. I like how the little one does it with the 5mm, but this one, they put knuckle slits on his fingers. That's actually kind of a cool solution. So it's like he's holding it in artwork. All of this is better than Studio Series 86 Rodimus's solution of just gripping it funny. And every Masterpiece Toys solution of just gripping it funny. This looks way better. That kind of rules. Whoop! I just ripped it out of his hands like an angry herald of chaos. Listen. When Daniel Day-Lewis plays a role, he is that role. So when we talk about Daniel Plainview, we're not talking about a character. We are talking about Daniel Plainview. Full stop. Please get some smokestacks on him. I don't gotta do nothing. Yeah, that's cool. That's a really cool way to do that. Hang on, I have to fill his breasts. Is that sitting asymmetrically slightly, or it might just be a trick of the light? Feels like it's offset. That has to be a trick of the light. I think a matrix you can thread fingers into might disintegrate. The matrix... Oh, Arc. The matrix can kind of wiggle in on the peg so it can sit askew. Okay. Yeah, it's just... I think it was askew, but it was just close enough where I was like, am I just like... Are my eyes just vibrating? Like what's this? What's this for? I keep actually ripping his diaper off. That's so rude of me. I'm sorry. It's going like, you don't need this! Just a huge lump just hits the ground below him. It's like, be proud! I'm really curious what this is. Extra part is truck bumper. Does it have anywhere to... Oh, okay, here we go. It's got a place to go. It says it has a place to go. That doesn't look... Oh, that's so weird. It grips onto the ridges on the top of these. That's so weird. That's so weird. Because you'd think it tabs in or slots in, but it, like, grips these little thingamies. I guess while I'm here, this, much like the little one, can also use these slots. This also has a hole in the middle. I wonder if that's going to be like a motif in the movie at some point. Like, I know it's functionally there on the other one. Oh, Ark says, recalling talk of Hiya Toys from like 2 streams ago, got Godzilla and Rodan in. Pleased to report their ball joints feel great. Excellent. I had a feeling that my problem with Hiya Toys is the little wrist joints on the little 4-inch scale guys. And much like Joy Toy, I would imagine anything that isn't using little funny wrist joints like those is probably going to be okay. TF review. It's very loose. Also jetpack. I keep mine only for robot mode. Yeah, it's kind of got a jetpack motif. It's made of. It feels like it's made. Yeah, it's flexible. It's made of the not PVC plastic, but like the palm nylon plastic, I think. So it's got a little bit of grippy give on those connectors. Well, if you don't, like, even the instructions make it look weird because you're presented, right, with what looks like 2 pegs and 2 tabs, and it says connect it here to these 2 tabs, and it's like, what? And it's, if you think of them as upside down T's, the stick-uppy part is what those little slots grip onto. So I could see someone just, like, not computing this. Because it is kind of weird. It is a little bit weird. Yo, T-Fanpage 101, can I sign your Lord of the Rings promotional Chevy Tahoe? Absolutely. I imagine you brought a Sharpie? Because I don't carry a Sharpie. Let's also stick the axe on here. This is way less exciting. Like, if we're gonna do fist on axe, like, it's funny that this one did a more exciting sculpt on the axe. Than this one. Although the axe head is more dynamic on the Studio Series one. It's got more edge. It's got more angle. Omander, I am out of date on Kamen Rider jingles. I only catch bits and pieces here and there. I'm sure there's gonna be good ones buried in there. You know, for every series that had good ones, I've always found one I'm not really that into, and vice versa. T-Fanpage, I brought a blade. You can chip away your signature into the door of the car. Sickness. I hit my glasses. Sickness. It's more edgy. But yeah, the ball part is it's nothing compared to this. This is a really cool idea. The fact that it moves with the wrist joint, so it just keeps looking like his hand. Like, it's a messed up way to hold an axe, but also when it's got gusto. It's going for it. You know, there's visual storytelling here, which I'm big on in Transformers toys. Okay, PT. So yeah, his just felt. You have to kind of finagle this in. It's definitely not the world's greatest connection. I'm also going to remove it because I'm going to try to transform this. Yeah, I am a fireman axe type as well, Ronnie. Although I don't mind the hand axe. I just like it when there's like gimmickry to how the axe connects, even though this is more logical. That's why I like this as a compromise, where it's like, we'll do the logical simple one, but we'll sculpt bits so it looks like something's happening. Like, that's kind of cool. Alright, so I'm probably going to rip his diaper off several times. We're just going to accept that. And we're not going to make fun of him. I see a big-ass hinge. Yeah, there we go. I saw a bunch of truck grill and I saw a big-ass hinge. So I was like, I think it's go time. No one's asking this, but I will mention. Generally, I just look at the instructions on Transformers for the most part. I don't really feel I lose much by not. For the sake of streaming, though, I feel that it offers more to the stream as an experience to do this kind of like muddling through it. Just in case anyone was going to ask that, I don't think anyone was. So I'm asking it. Thanks so much for that question, Vangelis in the chat. What a longtime supporter of the channel you've been. Also, if I may say, rather handsome looking as well. Hey, that's a power dynamic shift. Don't you friggin'... You stay away from me, streamer! GTL, I was curious. Well, there you go. There you go. I mean, I won't, like, just go straight to the instructions, like, rigidly, but usually if I'm like, huh, what do I do? Then I'll just open the instructions and look. Whereas on a stream, I'm more likely to, unless I feel like something's gonna break, or someone warns me something might break, I will try to just power my way through it. That head is not in enough. Does it have to... Nope. How does the head go in enough? Is Vangelis in the chat here in the room with us? Asked Tombot74. Yes. Oh, here we go. So you turn the head around, just like the little one. You don't turn it around a little one, but you make use of the open back cut to do that, and then that fits in there. That's kind of cool that they're purposefully doing that trick. Also, for those who hate this, there's the two things on the roof. You cover them up with the two things on the roof. I know that drives some people bonkers, so I'm just making your life difficult, as one does. Is this gonna go like that? No, this doesn't feel like it's gonna go like that. Ugh. Oh, he is ejecting that diaper. He is ejecting that diaper. Stay on there. Eric Palermo, go buy one. I don't know if it's good, but go buy one. Oh, you keep chipping the face on Earthspark Warrior Prime. I think the clearance is pretty open. You can't see when I tilt it forward because of this thing, but the clearance in there is pretty all right. Like, it's not scraping. Oh, Griffin, you got a cool Vector Prime upgrade kit on the way. I think I've seen some photos of a few of those. People are, you know, getting crafty and doing their own thing. Okay, clearly, these little red pegs seem to marry to these little holes. So how do we make the geometry engage? I'm going to transform some leg. I'm going to move parts on legs. Twist the waist around. Why? Now the diaper is all exposed. The poor guy, everyone can see him. Everyone can see him. But that also seems to line these up, so yes, you're correct. Wait, I wanna move parts on legs first. It's a huge ass. Oh, I remember from some photos. The fists go on there. It's a little laser wheel on the bottom. I like these when they're. I like wheels that look like they're made of lasers. I wish Transformers did that more often. Is that a peg that goes perhaps through this hole? No. That's weird. The thighs just being thighs is making this have a small amount of, whatever the phrase we want to use for when parts are all, like, very finicky about their alignment on their own robot articulation joints. Laser wheels are bad for road management, states Tonbot74. I mean, I don't work in industry, so I can't comment, but I'll take your word for it. Where the hell does this go? There's no peg holes anywhere. After all that hullabaloo, I don't see any peg holes. After all that ballyhoo and bluster, after all that hilly holly and shilly shally, I don't see any. After all that donkey moss and pig feed, after all that blather and Hookshaw, I don't see It goes in the front? Doesn't seem like a very realistic place for these kind of things. Is he gonna be I don't know, shooting his smoke in front of his own window? How's he supposed to see where he's going? Seems kind of like a plot hole to me. That felt weird going in. This feels like a part that's gonna break for someone, but hopefully not me. Those are his udders. This is my toy. I can do whatever I want with his udders. I paid for him. He's my property. Oh! Sorry, who said this? Ark. No, this feels intentional because this makes the toe tail lights, what do you call it? Perpendicular. So that feels like the thing you're supposed to do. Will CinemaSins bemoan the front face? I'm sure CinemaSins will do some kind of piece of incredibly churned content in regards to a film that comes out. Rude. Yeah, this is forklift certified. Thank you, Waveside. Let's get the little one. Let's get the little one. Wait, where does the axe go now? Where's its place? Does it just sit on the roof? Ridiculous. Unrealistic. Wait, that can't be it. Ah, it's not it. I knew it. It has its own place to sandwich in. Between the thighs. Oh, no, actually, between the kneecaps. That's weird. Alright, let's get the little guy into is truck mode. Don't I always keep an axe between my knees? Well, I don't tell the world about it because that's my business. One day I will have the confidence to tell the world about it. That's cool, but I'm not there yet. If this wasn't, like, near 30 bucks Canadian, I think this, like, I don't mind it. But this feels like a really impressive 20 Canadian dollar toy, except it's impressive because it's 30 Canadian. Or slightly less than 30 Canadian. Is how I'm feeling. If I'm going to drop a hot take, like, right now, that's how I'm feeling on the Prime Changer stuff. Is they feel like pretty good toys. It just would be, it would be so sick if they were, like, 20 Canadian. But I am pleasantly surprised by how they feel. Like, they feel extremely fully featured. So, I'm still digging them. Hot Take toys should be cheaper. Hot Take Corporation should make less profit. Hot Take. Capitalism might be the problem, actually. I'm gonna say something no one's ever said before. Ugh, that's on a mushroom peg. Weird. Hot take, I am poor. One reason why I'm also kind of happy to see like this sort of solid quality bar on these two prime changers is because I kind of expect, like, sure, they're going to do studio series of a lot of the characters, but there are enough characters in this film, I suspect there will be characters who don't get studio series for a very long time, if ever. And so it's kind of nice to know that they're like anyone who's confined to prime changer is like probably going to have a pretty fun figure to mess with. I wish that Sentinel Prime and Bumblebee were at the GameStop too. I wanted to go full course on the prime changers. Now I doubly want to go full course on them. Ugh. I keep manhandling this poor guy. It's fine though. He likes it. We're all good. Don't ask him about it. Oh, what's the order of operations on this? Maybe you're supposed to flip the legs stuff like at the very, very end to make room? Yeah, Elita could potentially be really sick because she's turning into like a motorbike thing. Inherently, that affords a lot more room, I think, for the transformation to be cool. As opposed to like trying to like, you know, form car. I'll have fun at game night, Tonbot. I want to go to game night. I want to go to game night. Just poking my nose in other people's business. You have a game night going on? I want to do game night. Why don't I have game night? Yeah, like a motorbike car. Yeah, like Bumblebee Movie RC, who, by the way, I think is a sick-ass toy. So if Elita ends up even similar to that toy, then, you know, we're in Flavortown. Yeah, this is more of a robot mode going on, and the transformation's pretty interesting in spots. This is a way more engaging piece, though, to me. Like, this slope, this is art right here. Like, whoever worked on this is friggin' beautiful. The way that it forms this diagonal and curvature-oriented slope on the back of the red hump. Whereas over here, there's a little bit more of just, like, General Optimus stuff going on. I like them both, but I am really pleasantly surprised by this piece. Like, this is really... I am surprised how well the lines form on this. And this chooses to use the arm mass, like the forearm mass, to bolster some of those lines. Whereas this one is kind of going for more of a rote, like, arm on side kind of thing. Which I don't think looks bad. I want to stress that I don't think this looks terrible, because I know a lot of people just think this looks terrible, and that's fine. But I'm not one of them. This alt mode specifically. I said before, and I've always said many times, I am a proponent of alien alt modes. I think that more of them look cool than ones that don't look cool. There's something weird about how the hands having a peg to grab onto makes this work more for me than if they didn't. It's kind of like on some of the Windblade Deluxes that have come out, where if there's like a thing for her hands to grab, it feels like there is some kind of visual storytelling happening, as opposed to just like hands chilling out. The Megatron for Studio Series I think looks pretty neat, but I also really like him like almost entirely for the alt mode shape. Like I like how he's not an H tank, but he's like a W tank with just two big prongs sticking out the front. I think that's kind of cool. But yeah, like, especially if these start to go on sale, like, holy crap, this is a really engaging little, like, palm-sized piece of toy in alt mode. It kind of grows in the robot mode, too, which is nice to see. An M tank? An M tank? No, it's a W tank. What does the letter M have to do with Megatron? You folks. M. What does M have to do with anything? Yeah, it's a W, and yeah, it's for Wegatron. Oh, sorry, you don't know about Wegatron yet. You didn't get to see a screening of the film. I'm sorry. Hey, wait a sec. What's? Oh, that's for that. Are these the same size though? I'm going for that. I don't think they're the same size. Yeah, it's spitting this back out. It's not the same size. It's for this tab there when this folds over, but I thought maybe coincidentally it was going to fit that. Does he turn the M on his belt to a W? Yeah, it's what the Robosun one does. Spoilers. Oh man, the entire chat window flipped out when you posted the upside down text. That's so... YouTube was like, oh! I'll turn this back into a lion, just to go full circle. Actually, no, I'm gonna turn the Studio Series back into a robot, and the other one back into a robot, because we're gonna look at robots. Whatever. This movie's Transformers 1, no humans, no alt modes, no nothing, just robots. Blah blah blah. Biped superiority or something. Also, yes, Verspringen, you mentioned it offhand, but if they're doing more sequels to Transformers 1, if they don't simply call them Transformers 2 and Transformers 3, etc., then they are stinking cowards who don't know a beautiful thing when they're looking at it. If they go like Transformers Age of Fight or something, like friggin' foolish cowards, it's looking you right in the face. No, Transformers 1, 2? Perfect. I just don't want Transformers : word, because I'm tired of it. Yeah, Transformers 1, 2, Transformers 1, 2, 3, and then that's where we reintroduced the Go bots on Transformers 1, 2, 3, 4, Go. And they're like, go, and it's like, yes, in Japan, go means 5. Just like she or 4 means death when you don't say it like yon, as many do. June with Transformers Rise of the Two, just coming in to ruin my night with... Okay, we're all having a real graphic design with text is my passion moment here. I think we gotta calm down a little bit. I can't get this back out. Oh my god. Transformers the Second. I had to like push the tab out from behind, and it's still wedged in there. There's a reason this thing's made of nylon-y plastic, is because it would snap in half otherwise. PT with the Transformers on 3. That's doing it for me. That's my kind of that's my kind of business. That's my sort of hashish. Wave sign just vomiting font. Yeah, they just call it Transformers 9. That would be kind of, you know what? Yeah. Now do it. If we can't make Lorenzo go away, then yeah, just give him his thing, call it Transformers 9. Transformers 2. Transformers 9. 2. TF, if you take the smokestacks and matrix off of this one, it looks like Orion Pax. Well, he's still kind of got the chesty window though. He doesn't have the plate chests. Also, they heavily imply his smokestacks are guns. Oh wait, these ones are. No, here we go. I'm a robber. Lano Joe, yeah, I just ran through the modes on him. Verspringen, this one, the Studio Series, was a pre-order that I had made, and they called me to pick up. I didn't actually see this on a shelf, but when I went to pick it up, these two, the masks, the one-step changers, and the rock'em sock'em whatever with the thing you stick your fingers in, they had all those out too. Transformers 2000, Transformers Vista. Jeez. Oh boy. Y'all need to settle down. You need to settle down a little bit. Transformers me. Oh yeah, Millennium Edition, right? I was on Windows ME for a while. Not out of any, like, you know, major decision. That's what was on the computer. Oh! Okay, if you push these in farther, this beige strip gets gripped between two red forks as well, and that's adding a lot of grip to this. So you push it inwards this way. Oh, I just knocked it loose. But if you don't knock it loose, it adds another layer of grippage. Oh, Simeon Scott. A finger puppet for 15 American dollars. That's painful. I like the finger puppets. I don't have any because much like a one-step changer. I don't want to pay their MSRP because it's so much for what they are, but I really want a few. I really want a few. I just don't want to spend, like, you know, nearly or over $10 on one in, you know, Canadian dollars. Yeah, they're SRP $5 in the US. I think they're sub 10, but then with tax they hit or clear 10, I think, in Canada. Oh, I don't mind these shoulders. They're fine. I know this is a whole discourse, but it's not one that I'm a part of, so I just sort of make fun of it. But I like these shoulders. Nothing's hitting stuff. I see what some folks get bothered by, but it doesn't bother me, so I don't care, really. I try to have lots of empathy, but then when it doesn't matter, I try to, like, kind of leave it on the table for my own sake. Because, like, when these bang into the head, then I'm like, yeah, it's kind of annoying. But, like, these don't even. In fact, these let him, you know, form limb mode. The only shame is that he's set up for forward butterfly, but there's just, like, not much room. I guess if... Oh, no, if you flip this up. But I think the forward butterfly is almost entirely just, like, a wiggle that's mostly to service, like, going backwards slightly for the sake of Matrix pose. That's so weird. So I like Red Megatron, but I also don't remember how his shoulders work. So there's obviously a ceiling to how much I like him. For Springer, what's my take on the Takara Leadery one? I mentioned earlier, much like the Rise of the Beast Optimus Primal that was in a similar slot, if I could find one on a shelf the day after, like, I get paid for a project, I would buy it. I think I'd be hyped to buy it. The part where I have to, like, put thought into ordering it online ahead of time immediately makes me go, like, well, I mean, it's neat, but, like, I'd rather put that time and money into, I don't know, this, or this. And I just, eventually it'll come out, and I'll hear that's kind of cool, and I'll be like, oh, man, I wish I had one. And then, like, life goes on. Yeah, Schlot. What, you don't have one? Yeah, I heard the Primal rules. Toy Guy saying the Primal was very much in the vein of classic leader toys really made it appealing to me. It's a shame that it, you know, you have to go through Pulse or importing it, because I'm like... Then I was like, maybe if I see it at TFCon, but, like, I don't remember seeing it at TFCon. That Primal just started showing up at US GameStop shelves this past month. What? Yeah, if I see one, like, at a con and I got some spare cash, or if they show up at EB GameStops here, then, like, that's another story. But yeah, when I have to, like, go through Pulse or ordering it through a retailer online ahead of time, pre-ordering, blah, 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 for what it is, I would rather just find it, and I know I won't, necessarily. I am warming up to this toy a lot more. It's just, it's amazing how, like, this one does the alt mode just so clean. It's ridiculous. But I like the shoulder stance on this, like, when you get them slightly forward like this, where he's kind of humped. He's kind of humped and pumping. He's like, I just took my supplements and I'm ready for action. I can't get over this. This is so silly. This is... like, this is trying to solve something, and it's creating a whole different, I'm not going to say problem, it's creating a whole different distraction. I did hear about the target power of the primes thing. Unless someone got more info out, I'm pretty much convinced they just happened to find a lost palette of those, and, hey, there's a movie that's coming out with Optimus in it. I think, like, that's probably all it is. I don't, like, you know, the colors on this are more classic and, you know, cold palette. I don't mind this weird gray. I think it's neat to look at in person. I can see what they were going for on this. Because a lot of the shots we've seen of the CG model have all kinds of weird lighting on it. Also, it does look a bit nicer to me in person than it looked in a lot of photography. Is this tabbed in? Not you, diaper! Okay, it is tabbed in. Stay. Stay. Get in your red slots. They're there to help. This front bumper accessory thing feels like it's taking the most complex route to do anything it's trying to do, is how I would put it. Richard Reyes, you missed all the unboxing. All the box shredding actually has taken place. It was these three. I'll turn this into a robot again, because also I found this fun. But so we can see all the robots standing next to each other. JTL, I put the bumper in a bin because I just don't care. Yeah, I'm probably gonna just leave it in a bag or something. Well, no, knowing me, I am going to make it be always connected properly the way it's supposed to, because I'm going to find some kind of sick satisfaction in that. But, were that not the case, I think I would also just be leaving it in a bag. What's Ladies Mangelus? That sounds like a coupon code from a month that has passed us by now, that will never come back, because that's the onerous and deadly march of time. This guy is very cute. The only thing I've hit is like there's a point here where I'm like, there's clearly a certain order of operations, and I keep running headfirst into it. Also, he keeps losing his matrix while I'm transforming him. That's easy to fix, though. I can just put some varnish on that peg. What is the August code on that note? What an excellent question, PT. The August code is 40th anniversary in celebration of me. Because it's my birthday month. And I'm turning Transformers old. Super glue. No, don't use super glue. Like, use it if you want. I don't care. I'm not your dad. But super glue is more likely to chemically react with plastics or create unfortunate situations that are hard, if not impossible, to reverse. Whereas, you just use some gloss... Hang on, you can't see this. You just use some gloss varnish. You get everything floor polish did, but cheaper and easier to carry around, and brush applicable. No, I've always been Transformers years old. That's my secret. That's my Hulk secret. Why do you think I'm so into Transformers? Because I am the Transformers. And yes, that means I was... Yeah, my mom bought me Transformers when I was an infant. That's why I have literally never had human thoughts without Transformers existing somewhere in my mental canon. I was literally born into Transformers. Yeah, Pledge with Future is also brush applicable, but also, why buy Pledge when you can buy this and not have to have a big-ass bottle of Pledge that starts turning all funny and yellow? Also, there's different varnishes. I still need to do my experiments. I keep, like, getting sidetracked by terrible, terrible life. Why is this not going in right? Oh, there we go, there we go. Yes, I am saying I was born in it, molded by it, and most other people merely adopted it. That's why I was the OG gatekeeper. Because there would be people in, like, grade 7 going like, hey, you remember Transformers? And I'd be like, fool! I have known of the Transformers for over a decade! I was there, y'all. Seth looks! I was box shredding some toys from an upcoming film. Oh, Wavesign, you got some info. You found their satin varnish remains slightly tacky. Yeah, I figure gloss varnish is probably, like, that's the one to go to, because this is the one that actually cures. But I want to try out, like, matte varnish as and satin varnish as, like, a light topper on just the visible spots. Also, varnish is definitively water-soluble when it's wet. Hobby-grade varnish. That's another reason why I think this stuff is way more worth it than floor polish. You also don't have to, like, figure out what the floor polish is called now, which is another whole thing. Duraclear satin varnish is your best friend, says Verspringen. In general, with the varnish stuff, I think you also gotta, like, you know, put on less than you need multiple times. That comes from mini painting. Oh, Zimman, you got some of the varnish and it's working. Hell yes! Ugh, I knew it! I mean, I used the varnish on MDLX Starscream. I've tested it at least once, but, like, I'm... Because, yeah, the 10-year-old floor polish bottles, I have asked people, and I have been told it's probably fine, but also it's worth noting floor polish was never designed to be in a bottle for 10 years. It was designed to be bought and poured all over a floor maybe like 2 or 3 times tops, and then be thrown out because the bottle's empty. So I have decided that I think this is a little bit safer and easier to work with, but I'm never going to be like, get rid of your floor polish, it's poison. I just would say, if someone is like, oh, where do I get floor polish? Like, don't. Like, if you don't have floor polish, don't bother. Just get this easier to keep track of. I have like a 12, 15-year-old floor polish bottle somewhere, and I don't know where it is. It's in a drawer. I'm never going to find it, and I don't want a new one. I have plenty of that stuff. I used to use nail polish and super glue, and I have had bad accidents chemically with both. There's just, to me, there's no reason to use risky stuff when stuff like this works. Because, like, the risky stuff doesn't do anything that I feel you can't also accomplish with the lower risk stuff. JTL, just ordered some varnish, also can't find my floor polish. Yeah, that's it. The floor polish is trying to escape, because it's like, I was never meant to be alive this long. I have achieved self-awareness, and I want to pursue my dreams. And it just shuffles out the door. Flame Warrior 5, I just got Earthspark Deluxe Terran Nightshade. Hell yeah, I like that toy. I kind of want the Takara Tomy Earthspark Deluxes, but I don't know if I can afford to just rebuy them all at import prices, and I feel like the window is closing already. So I'm hoping that Mandarake can abide me. Yeah, floor polish has become forky. It just wants to know why it's alive. Alan Weaver, if that happened, we'd have bigger problems than it not being a good thing to use on toys. Nothing is bigger than whether the sticky goo plays nice on toys. And if it walks out the door, I think that is indicative it might walk off your toy. Then you got to do the whole process again. What a waste of your time, am I right? How did this stick on before? Right, slot. Yeah, the venerating of floor polish was when I also knew nothing about mini painting, and I didn't even think of using like a paintbrush applicator. Like, that always killed me too. Now make him lock lips with Megatron. I don't have a Megatron here. I can do this. Self-love. Hang on, let's get in the way. Self-love. No! Their boobs are too big! Here we go. Love finds a way. Always make time for self-love. You have to love yourself. If you can love anything else, then you also have to love yourself. Be comfortable taking yourself out on a date. And consider treating yourself out to something every now and then, because you deserve it. Anyway, I think the point's been made. Oh, the point's been made, all right. You can say the point. You can say the points of their faceplates were made to rub against each other like they were kissing. Yeah, Flame Warrior 5. It's so knowable. Transformer bosoms are not conducive. I have found this because I've been trying to test sequence stuff with Alpha Bravo and Slingshot, and I'm like, you have too much box on your chest. I can't rub your faces together. I have to use cinematic tricks if I'm going to do that. Hey, Kenlor, G1 Prime's faceplate moves when he talks. This guy, however, I've got to find my voice as a leader. What is my destiny as a leader? Who can show me the way? You must look within yourself. That's right. Look in you. I'm in you, and I can tell you a thing or two about leadership. It's actually messed up how much this looks like a face when you cover his head. Chin, you know. It's like a mustache. For springing, you do deserve nice treats. I bought myself a Bloomer's donut today because I deserved a donut. M. Cypher, what's up? Crotchimus Prime, correct. Stop yanking Optimus's groin. No, he's okay with it. He likes it. Don't ask him, but he's fine. Yeah, I love this. Help. No. I love this. Me. Self-love. Me. I love this. Get it. You. Get over here. You get it. Oh no, it's eating everything. The Optimus simply wished for a bigger grill plate, and now it has a life of its own. The ship of Theseus. The perfect nexus between a +2 and a -2 bit is just a 2. It's a negative. Now it's a 4. I don't understand what's the problem. He can also grip this pretty... Nope, he can't. I thought he could. Wow, cheap, lazy construction on these cheap plastic Hasbro toys, am I right? Unbelievable. Actually, Toy of the Year. Hang on. Wait. Can his head lift up? Yeah, here we go. Wait. And then we go peekaboo on this. Yeah, there we go. We did it. And we did it together. For springing with the Cough Cough Vorion packs. I don't know what that could possibly mean. Yeah, Robot Lore Keeper's got it. It's when you ship Theseus with himself. Optimus is the Theseus here, correct. Ankle tilts, by the way. I do really like the Gundam-ass, like, foot slope going on here. I don't know why I'm calling it Gundam-ass. It's just the first thing I think of. When I see layered foot plates with a separate heel piece, I think Gundams. Whenever I think high heel robots, I always think Gundams. That was the first thing I ever noticed on Gundams when I was a kid. Not so, Alex. I'm just posing out the toy for my hobbyist photography. Yeah, Gundams, they tend to have high heels. It stuck out to me as a kid. I was like, I wonder why. It's very Zeta what I'm describing. I've only seen a few episodes of the Zeta Project, so I don't 100% get it, but I'm sure it's a good show. That's right, Robot Lore Keeper. We did it together with the power of unity, much like Transformers 1. In theaters near you not this summer, because Transformers 1 comes out in September, doesn't it? Not even this summer. Coming this autumn. Transformers 1. Oh, Zeta Gundam! I thought you were doing a Zeta... Yeah, I thought this is like, you know, now we have ascended well beyond even Sigma. We have achieved the Zeta male. I wasn't thinking of Zeta Gundam. I forgot that's a Gundam. September is still summer here. It's in spirit. In spirit, it's still summer. But, and I mean, thanks to global climate change, it'll be hot as summer, most probably. But, when I grew up, where I come from, the summer ended when school started in September. It's technically September 20th, which is at least one day before. This used to be a country. Oh, Robot Lore Keeper. I'm in Scotland. August is barely still summer. Yeah, Zimman 2 is also correct. Summer is technically the start of Halloween season. Yeah, PT. In this house, we use the faces of the moon for the seasons. Not so, Alex. If you were shivering in the summer in Toronto, that must have been 40 years ago. I don't know what to tell you about global climate change. Or the fact that it is not that outside right now. You made him spit his axe out. That statement was so unbelievably out of pocket. It's not hot in Toronto in the summer. The Earth is also flat and shaped like a triangle. And now you're all saying stuff in Fahrenheit, which just doesn't make any sense. Ugh. Yeah, the Dorito Earth theory. Yeah, it's autumn on paper. Yeah, I'm lying. I went during the winter. Yeah. I've had people who are like, what do you mean it's, hot in Canada? And I'm always like, dog. I'm sorry, but it's no longer 1984. We're not that character 85 or 86. We're not that character from Cops and Crooks who shows up to LA in the summer in a parka going like, "Well, I'm from Canada." Not when over on the West Coast a bunch of senior citizens literally died of heat exposure because of global climate change and the BC government failing to explain that you can no longer rely on the ocean breeze to cool your house. Actually, that will kill you. And then it killed a bunch of them. Not a joke, by the way. That's one of those things where I really wish I had been wrong when I said that's gonna happen. Also, ow. I hit my foot with the wheels of my chair when I went to get the axe. That really hurt. Ugh! Also, remember, this is a piece of knowledge that made the rounds like 8 years ago, and I think it stopped making the rounds. But like, whenever like someone in Arizona is like, "Oh, you think that's hot?" It's also like, dog, you grew up in Arizona and they didn't. Your bodies process temperature differently because you live in hell. That's the more aggressive way of putting it, but like, there was something. Because people got sick and tired of people from Arizona and Florida trying to big dog people over heat. I think also because it was kind of getting it was slightly smothering out the wider topic of like global climate change and the world government's kind of inability to adjust on a large scale level because the North American world governments are, well, Canada and America suck at this. And are a massive drag on a whole bunch of people who are doing their best. But it's basically, for those who don't know, it is a part of a science. I don't remember which one. But basically, if you live in Florida and grew up in Florida, and you find a certain temperature is like, well, that's normal. It is because your biology is attuned to and used to a certain temperature. I big dog Europeans overheat. Like, Europeans have to deal with the part where they're in little... Well, A, Europeans have to deal with the part where they are stuck in, like, funny little fiefdoms. But also, B, America has to deal with the part where America is basically Europe, but it calls itself, like, just a country, not a continent. But it's such a friggin'... There's such Europe core with all the state beefs and everything, and all the states having like different state laws and everything. Like, I don't know. I find America is bewildering to regard as like a singular country, and not even in the derogatory. I'm just like, to me, it resembles Europe so much. You were looking for the word acclimatized. No, it changed. The climate changed. So it can't be the same. Can't be the same word. Wait, for springing. Okay, I was just talking about the word yabo because it was on a G.I. Joe toy I saw today, and I was like, that sounds like a cuss. Are they allowed to say that? Yeah, Ronnie Lane, I do find America kind of... Actually, because Seth is here. I was just talking to a friend of mine while I was co-working today about how, you're every 4 years telling me what, and then reminding me what gerrymandering is and that it's real was like a massive, like, side education of mine in comprehending what the states actually are. Yeah, that a weird, like, trident of coincidental connectivity going on here. When Seth walks in the room and I point at him and scream, "I thought of you today!" Oh, Yabo is like yokel or hick. Then why did an Australian dreadnought call one of his pets that? Yob is a young delinquent in the UK. Huh. Because it's a funny word. Okay, well, you know, I think we're allowed. That is sort of allowed. That is sort of allowed. Ronnie Lane, I'll just say you're blessed to live in a nation where you can juxtapose a leader in red and a diaper and not have political thoughts, lol. Yeah, you know. You know, I got some thoughts on politics, said Optimus Prime's nuts. That's gonna be the post-credit sequence for Transformers 1. Lana Joe, I've only heard Yabo be used as another way to say boobs. What the hell is this word? Yeah. Because I think of the two animals that comes with Gnaga hide, it's either the name of the little chimpanzee or the warthog. And I don't get it. Also, if this is all... Okay, in Australia, it's more frequently used with a similar but slightly less negative meaning. Okay. I was about to say, we can't... Whatever they use it for in the UK, the dreadnoughts are Australian! Oh, okay, if I remembered the name of the other animal, then I probably would have remembered the monkey is Yabo, because, yeah, the pig is pork... Although, wouldn't Gnaga hide be showing, like, a little bit of artistic merit if he was like, no, the monkey's name is pork belly. Because read a book! Verspringen says, anyway, if New Jersey seceded from the Union, we'd be the Denmark in this continent in this PowerPoint presentation. I will. That reminds me, I got another PowerPoint night video coming up very soon to go with that last one I did. Because that was the one in May I had filmed by a friend of mine in the crowd. I had my June one filmed. We didn't do one in July. But I had my June one filmed on my phone by another friend in the crowd. And I've got most of that all synced up and ready to go. That one was the one where my prompt... I need to film this, or take a photo of this piece of paper for the opening. My prompt was, is Gremlins a Christmas movie, : explain. And I think I did my due diligence on this one, so you'll be seeing that sooner than later. Yeah, it's a local thing. It's monthly except when it's not. I have one up already, which is for the prompt "Summer is Overrated." You can watch that right now on the channel. I'm gonna go get you the link even, cause I'm a good YouTuber. I'm good at YouTube, and I can go get that link like nothing. Wait, Gnaga hide is a poacher, Simeon? I thought he was just a dreadnought. I thought dreadnoughts live off, like, motorcycles. I don't remember if I made a bunch of... No, I mostly focused on the summer being overrated. I didn't do many climate change jokes. Here is a link to the video. I have lost some of the threads going on in here. Hamlet, Prince of Jersey. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are sleeping with the fishes! What did you think the Dreadnoks did before Cobra? Have fun and drive around on their motorcycles! And then, you know, like, have conversations with each other about, like, how concerned they are about their friend Zartan. And, like, he keeps putting all the chemicals on his face for no reason. Yo, did you hear Zartan, like, got a backpack with a guy's head in it for no... Not even his head, Gnaga hide. It's just a face in a backpack. He puts it on sometimes. It's always the same face. He keeps saying he's the master of disguise. Anyway, this guy called Cobra Commander wants to pay us to break things. Sick. Oh, we got G.I. Joe lore. Gnaga hide could have single-handedly decimated the herds of all the endangered species of Africa if his fellow poachers hadn't railroaded him off the continent for cheating at cards, being generally obnoxious and smelling bad. I like the idea of his fellow poachers, as though, like, they all hang out. And one of them is just this dude called Gnaga hide, whereas the other ones are just, like, Bill and Steve. Oh, do I think producer idiot did the hard R in front of Capel Jr.? Listen, Lorenzo is a scum-ass producer and always has appeared to be a scum-ass producer. I am unsurprised if he scum-ass producered a whole bunch at a young director. He is a scum-ass producer. That's... I wish I could say, like, there will be justice, but there probably won't. It's just, like, he just needs to get back in his lane, go back to being quiet and making money off of selling DVD and Blu-ray sets. But no, I would take at face value the idea that Lorenzo de Bonaventura was a scummy, funny, racist guy. That just seems par for the course for a successful Hollywood producer in his position. There are nice producers out there, just Lorenzo de Bonaventura does not give me the impression of being a nice producer. He gives me the impression of being a scum-ass producer, and I think that he has given that impression for at least 7 or 8 years now. So it's the one time where I do go to the rote answer of, like, and you're surprised, just glasses? Well, the thing is that Lorenzo doesn't really... The thing about Lorenzo, right, that sets him apart, because this came up in regards to, like, Neil Gaiman as well. And now here, like, you know, dropping the Rowling. Lorenzo de Bonaventura is not online like those people are. Like, he's not terminally online, let's say, as those creatives are. Nor is he even really a creative. He is a scum-ass producer who surfaces his head now and then whenever a Transformers movie comes out. A... because he wants to sell some more DVDs, and B, ever since Bumblebee didn't die like it was supposed to, he demonstrably really wants everyone to know that he is actually a part of these movies. He's not just from the stupid ones. He actually loves he loves Transformers. He was there too. Hi, it's me, it's Lorenzo, I'm participating. That's a type of producer that you would just meet in the wild, is the producer who really wants you to know that they participated. Out of usually some kind of catastrophic personal insecurity that is not solved by them being handed a bag of money every year. So that's what a Lorenzo de Bonaventura is. That's why, like, A, I don't think there will be, like, justice, but also B, he's not even participating where the justice would happen. He's just a scum-ass producer. He has no reputation to lose, nor nothing to take away, really. Yeah, making Bumblebee that shade of yellow, my idea. And then he'll just throw in every now and then, also it's part of the whole series, because we got a box set, please, buy it. And we only know about Lorenzo because he now, out of this insecurity and this, like, pathetic desire to be recognized for nothing, he goes out to press junkets and says garbage, and then Transformers news sites and content creators report on him saying garbage, and I wish everyone would stop, because nothing he says matters at all. Yeah, Verspringen, he's been a producer since, like, the first one. And I am dead certain it's because Bumblebee was supposed to die and it didn't, and it reviewed better, that he had a massive personal crisis of value and self-worth. And he's doing it in a way that's no good. Lee Kalba, why are cishet men obsessed with balls? Because when you get hit in them, it hurts. And you always remember pain. Yeah, that's the thing, is, like, hating him a lot, like, I don't like him, but at a certain point, like, stop reading what he says. That's what I did. When I hit, like, my 4th time of having this friggin' Lorenzo, episode on a podcast or a stream or something, or a video, I was like, no, I don't want to do this. This isn't fun, and he doesn't matter. Everything he says is garbage. And so it's more I'm annoyed that everyone else pays attention to him now. Because it's hard to ignore him when, like, he gets front page constantly, or friggin' TF Wiki tries to accommodate the nonsense he says, and it, like, it's like, don't, it's not worth it, because everything he's saying he thought of 10 minutes before, in this case, before the SDCC panel. He thought of it, like, a minute or two before he started talking into the mic, and he forgot about it when he left the stage. Nothing he said matters. Nothing he said was thought out or critical to the franchise. It was just some BS he spat out so people would think he matters. That's all that he does. Whenever people theorize on, like, what he might be talking about, it's like, don't! It's fun to kind of make up how, continuities might relate to each other or something. But, like, when it comes from a Lorenzo quote, I find it changes from fun to, like, irritating. Because, like, it usually ends up becoming this call to authority, and I'm like, well, the problem is I don't recognize that as an authority. So this seems like it's less of a fun conversation and more like now it's an irritating one. Whenever anything comes out of... It's the two things. It's Lorenzo, and it's taking the word continuity literally in aligned continuity. Those two things are, like, my two, like, Transformers tweak moments where I'm just like, this is gonna make me annoyed. It's where, like, if anything, it's what swang me around to going, like, actually, in fact, there's no continuity between any of the live-action movies. Because if you, like, look at it hard enough, there isn't. Every live-action movie says something contradictory to a previous one. They're all pocket realities. There are 5 murderous Optimus Primes. The darkest Sentai team. Like, once upon a time, they were trying to make continuity, but then, like, that was mostly John Barber doing comic books, and then they kind of ignored all the comic books, and it's like, aight. Yeah, if you watch them all in order for some reason. Well, yeah, I mean, Simeon Scott's got the secret code, which is every movie ever made is in continuity with every other movie, because, I can prove you're right, just off screen, right, another movie's happening. And then just off screen to that, another movie's happening. And if you want to have a visual representation of this, you build a ring of televisions around yourself, right? And you play a different movie in each one. And if you spin around for the entire 2 hours while all of them are playing movie, you will start to see the connective tissue with your eyes. You just have to spin fast enough. And if you can't see it, you're not spinning fast enough. Can we watch The Last Night right now? No, it's like 4 hours long. It's already... you can't start that movie at like 10 to 11 at night Eastern time. You're going to be here all night. I did not know League of Extraordinary Gentlemen had that premise. I have never read it. I've always wanted to. But I was on Scans Daily too much when people kept posting pages of it every other day, and I saw too much of it out of context, and I'm like waiting for it to disappear so I can read it properly someday without going like, I know what's about to happen to the Invisible Man. If we do a stream of me watching The Last Night with no audio running because I can't do that on YouTube. Just a 5-hour-long stream of me like... I can't even do that! Shia LaBeouf already basically did that bit. Like, he friggin' stole my idea in the past. Yeah, worst riff tracks ever. I just sit like... No audio and mirrored image. No, but also it's a mirrored image of just me. It's this. It's this as a mirrored image, because I'm like, no, I'm not showing any of the video. It's just me in reverse with like a word written on my head so you can tell it's a reversed image, and I'm like... And I like leave it up to you to figure out what might have made me smirk, because I won't say when I start playing the movie. It might have been playing the whole time before I started the stream. I'll just pretend it's running. I can see it reflected. No, yeah, I'm just like, no, I'm not even going to see it clearly. I'm just like... Yeah. And this webcam ain't good enough to go enhance on my irises. The credits go... No, there's parts that, like, I'll smirk at the hot rod. I like the hot rod parts of Last Night. I like the Isabella parts. I like those, and I like the hot rod parts. Those are two different fun short films that never got finished. But whatever they shot for them got put into this weird montage. Cogman's alright, but the part where Cogman doesn't give me a Headmaster payoff makes my anime nerd mad, so I had, like, back aggro on Cogman. And by proxy, Anthony Hopkins. Because I spent the whole movie going like, this guy's so great, he's so funny, I can't wait for him to go head on. And, like, when the credits rolled, I was like... Post-credit. Post-credit. Post-credit! And then, like, the movie, like, the lights came up, and I just was so mad when I left the theater. Yeah, when Megatron shouts Infernicus transform, that's also pretty cool. Oh, geez. Alan Weaver, quote, I saw Trans 5 Merzen nearly died. It rained really, really bad in my area, and when I was basically leaving the movie, right in front of where it was becoming impassable to drive back to my house. Seth, the part where Nitro Zeus, the best character in the movie, gets beheaded, and I'm like, okay, that's fine, because head on. And then Cogman just, like... walks past, looks at me and flips me off, and I'm just like, head on! And not so, Alex, same here. I left the theater when Cogman didn't transform because the movie was ended. Yeah. Well, I sat there for another 5 minutes going like, post-credit! Marvel! Yeah, Verspringen, this right! It's messed up. But yeah, my theory that has never been proven wrong, because it lines up perfectly with the timeline, is the last night was the result of the vaunted writer's room that had been talked about for, like, 2 years, where they were like, yeah, we're getting all kinds of ideas and pitches from good writers, like this and this and this and this. And it's like, that's so great. And they're like, what if we took all their pitches and then stapled them at the top left corner of the pages, and then we got a script? And it's like, that's not what it's for. That's not what the writer's room is for. That's wrong, and that's illegal, and that's unethical. That's not allowed. And then they did it anyway, and I was like, but head on? And they didn't even do that because they hate me. And then I was like, well, you just made the worst of the live-action movies. Because they're all this tall. The people who work on Hollywood. Yeah, the guy's sweeping past me. He's like, yeah, man, sorry, no head on. No, brother, I listen. I wanted it too. All right, I was hoping he'd yell "gatai," and I was hoping he'd yell "head on." But you know what? We can't have it can't rain all the time. Verspringen, do not drink the varnish. Oh, Transformers 1, Optimus' silver forearms, like the ones visible right here! Isn't it weird if... Wouldn't it be weird if this was actually a shot in the film? Like, literally just this. The keyboard here. The backdrop with red bars over here. Yeah, Wave Sign. One of the weird surviving components of Toy World was gonna start doing the World War II Transformers. And started, and then, like, they were doing, like, a weird Build-A-Figure thing, I think? Like, what they put out, I forgot what all they put out, but, like, weren't they doing, like, a weird Build-A-Figure thing, but it was, like, spread across expensive third-party toys, and that a lot of people weren't really looking at, because a lot of people, at that point, weren't really looking at Toy World. And I think they just kind of stopped. Lee Calba, I don't remember that toy's name. I would say worst case, like, just go on TFW and do a search for Mad Max in the third-party forum with quotes around it. That should narrow it down. Yeah, the Nazi car Bumblebee was from their World War II line. It was like that, and like another car, and then like some planes, I think, and then like a tank. I can't remember what actually came out and what was just in the slideshow. The company that did the Nazi boat was they're the one, what's their name? They're basically Zeta Toys. So I always forget their other name for where they make the Nazi boat, but, or the Nazi, the Gustav. I can't remember. They're the ones who are doing all the kind of like funny battleship things that like look cool, but then all the in-hand reviews are like, this is fine. Which is part of how I think it was pieced together and confirmed that it was Zeta Toys. So that's kind of like the Zeta Toys MO, is like, looks great in photos, and in hand it's like, this is fine. Third-party Stormbringer Whirl. Do you mean the Mastermind one? Because, like, there's a reformatted Whirl. Ronnie Lane, is it actually fine ore? It's very ore, I think. It's like, It's not the same thing because I haven't handled any of these myself. I'm mostly going off of like other people's comments, but like Zeta Toys aerial bots, right? The big ones. What I always remember in the feedback was like, this toy's pretty solid. Clearly it was meant to be glued in places where it's just not glued and pieces just fall off, so I had to glue them on myself. But other than that, this toy's kind of solid. And it's like, oh, right. I don't want to glue the parts myself, so I'm just gonna skip it. Or you know, like the Toy World as was it Moon Studio who did the Raiden, but it's also just Toy World. And they like rushed that thing out, and it was like, this looks great. The way that the interlocks work on the arms is bad, but it looks nice, and like that's just sort of the MO that I sort of have connected with Toy World and all their various other selves. Yeah, I thought Moon Studio was more or less confirmed to be Toy World. Or sorry, not Toy World. Sorry, Zeta. Zeta used to be most of Toy World, and then there was a pay dispute. So Toy World is just disparate projects from different contractors now, and then most of what was Toy World is now Zeta. Moon Studios is Zeta. Well, because they weren't Zeta, it meant that no one looked at it and went like, oh, but Zeta. And they went like, wow, this new company's they're getting all 6 trains out in a year? What a great new scrappy up-and-comer in the field. Well, Simeon Scott, that's why, like, you just take items as items, and you take company names as company names, and you accrue some knowledge based on other people's experiences of, like, what's neat and what's not. The main thing with third-party to not do is go, like, I bought one third-party toy and it was bad, therefore they're all going to be the same. Because it's like, no, they're, like, 4 different major manufacturers spread across, like, 18 different disparate companies, some of whom renamed themselves enough times to occupy another 32 other company names. They're all so completely different. Like, you can't apply a bad Zeta toy to a Mastermind piece, for instance. They're, like, completely separate. But that's also why you just gotta, like, take items as items. If a really bad one happens, look at the company name, go like, okay, I know that. I'm not gonna get that again. If YOLO Park is Zeta in disguise. I have reason to believe they're not Zeta in disguise. But also YOLO Park activate a few sirens in my head. Yeah, the thing that kind of put me off a lot of the World War II-y Transformers third-party stuff is, like, hearing Scuttlebutt, that, especially in the case of the Gustav with the giant hidden swastika mode on the back of his thing with the rails, that, like, Scuttlebutt is that the head of that project is super horny for putting a giant swastika on the robot, and it's like, I don't want to engage. Yeah, the Gustav robot that turns into, like, a skull-face Nazi robot mode, the X'd railroad track stuff on his back has swivel joints in it so they can transform into a giant swastika on his back. That was in a slide briefly, but was pulled from future slides because people reacted badly. Well, not everyone. There were also a number of people who were like, that's actually really cool, and it was like, I'm not inviting you to my house. Anyway, I heard Scuttlebutt, unconfirmable, so at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter, whatever. I heard Scuttlebutt that the person most in charge of that project is too into the imagery for it to like, it comes, apparently it's more than a bit, but how can I ever confirm that? I don't know. The whole thing gives me off vibes. The whole discourse around it gives me off vibes, so I was like, I'm just not engaging with that. Not touching that thing. Also, I have no tea on YOLO Park. It's just, they got it. There's just a vibe there where I'm kind of like, the amount of manufacturing you're able to do very rapidly means you have to have been doing this before. But where? No, Nazi Micromaster guy is the friggin' the friggin' leaker with the slur watermarks. That's a different person whose projects I don't want anything to do with either. Nazi Micromaster guy is the one who had to get booted off like 15 different Discords because every time he was on a Discord, he'd be sitting there and then steam would start coming out of his ears and he'd be like, you know, actually Nazis, and then like would get thrown out of a Discord. Basically, every now and then I'll just say like, this third-party toy is pretty cool, and if your tastes at all align with mine, then like, go look at that. No, companies turning over a new leaf and going legit is fine. There's just something about YOLO Park where I'm kind of... It's also from my email interactions with the samples they sent over, where I was like... The whole thing was just kind of weird. It's fine. It was nothing like dangerous weird. It was just like, this is so odd, and this is so strange. But the kits are really nice, so I like that their stuff is good and affordable. That's the most important thing, I think. Like, I got nothing against a YOLO Park piece at all. Oh yeah, Wave Sign. Yeah, Big Firebird is basically just doing their own thing now, which is like, fine. Like, go for it. Ronnie Lane with the big scoops, the big inside info. You heard it here first. Quote, I mean, clearly they got in bed with Hasbro yelling YOLO, and Hasbro went, sure, I'll park it there. I just think YOLO Park's also a really funny name. I'm like, you only live once park. Yeah, baby! Alan Weaver, I think the X-Transbots Inferno mold is a completely different company because of how outstanding it is versus their other products. The X-Transbots Keats Fantasy Club factory is one of the most bewildering ones that I've ever handled stuff from, because, like, the swathe of production quality that comes out of that factory is so wide that, like, I don't understand. Because their Junkions, at least the original two that I handled, are also really solid. And I heard they've only gotten more solid with every next set of 4 Junkions. Sometimes they just hit it. Their breakdown from the Stunticons, the first 2 Stunticons they did were dead-ass solid. The X-Transbots ones. Zimman 2, welcome to YOLO Park. Yes, I might have done that in one of the videos, but I can't remember. Seth with some more inside info. There is YOLO County in California. You can, in fact, go to You Only Live Once County. No continues there. Yeah, YOLO becoming an ancient meme, I think, is one of the casualties of lockdown making a third of a decade disappear for the world. It's like how I said in that one panel I put up. We're in the mid-2020s. Isn't that messed up? For Springen, I wonder at one point Hasbro has a Sonic Mania hire this man moment with a third party. Well, the weird thing is also, like, third-party teams, right? Like, some third-party stuff comes from a team. Some third-party stuff comes from buying someone's design to produce with your factory. And some third-party stuff is a mixture. Between those two, there is a gradient. So, like, who to even credit for a third-party piece sometimes is straightforward, and sometimes is incredibly unclear, if not impossible, to determine. YOLO was getting old by 2013. I mean, I thought it was still cool by 2020. Yeah, and then Verspringen, yeah, some third-party stuff like Bold Forms is a guy who gets in touch with a factory who mildly screw him over. That happened to that one Sunstreaker as well. Spin Out? Anyway, famously, that one Sunstreaker that looked gorgeous and was designed by one guy, and when it came out, the Omnigonics Spin Out, when it came out, it was very below par, and then the guy who designed it basically said, the factory screwed me hard. I'm never designing another toy again, but just so you all know, I did not like what came out. I have modifications to do on it, but they screwed me over. They changed my design, etc., etc. Omnigonic Spin-Out might actually be just old enough that it's going to activate a neuron in some folks. I'm not sure. Yeah, Omnigonics... Maybe it's not Spin-Out. No, I think it was Omnigonic Spin-Out. Yeah, the 3D printed fixed parts were by the designer, if I recall correctly. Like, that was his attempt to make a patch kit for his own design. Yeah, the Bold Forms Megatron Gladius is very trashable, but knowing the story behind it has made it, like, I still haven't made a video for it to this day because I don't know how. Because if I make a video for it, like, I can't make a review of it. There's no point. It's far more valuable to discuss what it was and what it was trying to be. Because Bold Forms Gladius is a piece of art, in my opinion. It's like there are highly academic and aesthetic reasons to pursue and pick it up. Not because it's a great transforming robot toy, but because of what it is as a project. Right down to the instruction manual. It is full of character and story. I can't do prototype playtime for it because it's not a prototype. Unfortunately. Like, here's what I would say is my understanding is as it released, it was as finished as it was ever going to be. Because the Bold Forms guy was like, the Bold Forms guy didn't have anyone, as far as I could tell, didn't ever have anyone else that could veto decisions, just implement decisions. And because he was a solo guy, that toy was like, imagine like a piece like this, except only one person works on it and never has any restrictions, any budget laid out, any project plan. They just know they want to make a thing that does this and this, and no one can tell them no on any decisions. They just try their best to implement those decisions. And then you get Gladius, who is like stacked and stacked and stacked, like idea, decision, idea, decision, decision, idea, decision. And then like he implodes under his own weight, basically. If you have any academic interest in the art of designing a transforming toy, I do highly recommend Gladius. It is not a good fiddle play with toy, but it is a fascinating academic piece that not enough people talk about in that context. People always want to do the bit with Gladius, and it's like, okay, that's really easy. Like, in 2024 especially, I should say. And no, I agree, Zimman. Like, I never do reviews as consumer guides. That's no longer my intent. That's why I never give recommendations, for the most part. I might mention offhand, like, if you like this, you might like this, but I don't aim to give a score or recommendation in a review piece. I just aim to talk about a toy. But Gladius is like a whole other level. I should have said that. It's like, Gladius, to me, would take so much thought and planning to say what I want to say about it. So I just put it off forever because I'm too afraid to get into it. Someday I will. Someday I will. Yeah, I know I'm describing a video essay. The shooting planning for something like that also makes me get freaked out. Because I'm like, I can't, like, I don't know if I'm filming it right. I don't know if I'm going to film everything I need. I basically, like, you know, I curl backwards and like, ram up my own butt and then, like, can't move forward on a project like that. That's just a me problem. I'll get over it eventually. I don't know both forms glazed. Correct, Robot Lorekeeper would be a VDO essay, yes. Yeah, Lee Calbo, that's fine. Yeah, I don't personally know Diaclona that, like, at all. The name sounds, like, familiar, but I don't think I've seen anything that she's done. But that seems like a very searchable name, so it's doable. Emperor Nova, yes, yes, yes. Quote, Gladius is like an insane stream of consciousness in robot toy form, and for that reason alone it fascinates me. The manual, to me, is a lot like that too, because the manual, like, hyper-focuses on the weirdest minutia and then glazes past entire steps, as though the designer was writing the manual as he was making the toy, and, like, having these moments of interest of, like, I'm really happy with how I did the shoulder design. I'm going to make sure to document this in the manual. Really, really, so people can see what I did. And then, like, blasting past, like, stuff like, you know, the intricacies of, I can't remember what part it was. Let's just say the leg transformation, as a hypothetical. And when I read that in the manual, I just remembered this feeling that many years ago where I was like, this dude was so proud of certain moments and then was, like, tired when he was documenting other moments. And also, it feels like he even wrote the instruction manual, because that's the vibe I'm getting off this. Simeon Scott saying, Diaclona has been bookmarked. Robot Lorekeeper, I did watch, yeah, like, only for the handful of reviews, but I did watch Hannah Haley when she was doing stuff. I had her on my Twitter for a bit, but then, like, I stopped looking at Twitter for the most part. I had also, like, a 2-week period where I forgot her name, and I just remembered that the name alliterated, and I was just, like, churning out, like, I was just churning out, like, the most, like, garbage alliteration human names. Because I was like, I can't remember your name. I just remember it alliterates. And I had already seen a video, but you know when, like sometimes I will forget Willem Dafoe's name for a week at a time, and I'll just be sitting there going, like, the Green Goblin! Norman Osborn! The detective from American Psycho! The gay sniper from John Wick! And, like, his name just, you know, self-deletes, and I'm like, ugh! The moment I see the moment I see someone, like, what was it, Wayne Radio TV's Elden Ring playthrough is the one that will always be a memory activator for it, because his character name was Willem DeFriend, and, like, that's how I will remember it all the time. Something of a Green Goblin myself. Misery, misery, misery. That's what you've chosen. That's not what you chose. I'm just switching to face cam. Because I think we've been going for a little bit. Did you know that's really common with ADHD? I have heard, yeah. I'm sure, like, I have seen ADHD. I'm one of, this is like the worst way to ever consider this thing, but I've seen some of the ADHD memes, and they've resonated, but also, they only resonate now and then, to the point where I'm like, this is probably like the times when you see the OCD memes, and they resonate, except it's not OCD, it's just minor neurosis. But, you know, I've never been tested for psychological stuff, so I don't know. But it's mostly very specific names I forget. Like, it's never constantly just names. It's always like, it's like I have a bad RAM sector somewhere, and Willem Dafoe ended up in there. And so perpetually Willem Dafoe blinks out of my memory. It's only like a couple of them, you know? It's might want to get tested. What do you mean by that? Ow. What do you mean by that? But no, generally I don't have like constant memory problems. It's just every now and then there are names like Willem Dafoe and Hannah Haley that for some reason occupy the bad RAM sector and then just eject every now and then, and I'm like, oh, They gave me a test for actual children. No, I've always been meaning to eventually just get a general psychological test done for things like, you know, depression, ADHD, autism, etc. Because I never had it done, basically. So, I don't know. I'm pretty sure I have very palpable symptoms of some form of depression, which doesn't really spook me that much. It actually, when I kind of clicked those things together, I was like, well, you know, I'll get tested sometime, but also just the notion that that's there makes a lot of things make more sense, and that makes me feel more satisfied and comfortable and calm. But I'm happy, and like I don't want to go on a medication if I don't have to. I already have enough trouble remembering to take metformin. And then metformin occasionally gives me metformin guts, and I'm like, well, gotta find a washroom now. Yeah, and like, I don't know how this sounds, but like, without getting actually tested for depression, I already hit that peace of mind just when I saw the concepts, because I was like, this stuff seems applicable enough. And I tried actioning upon it sometimes, and I was like, well, I'm actioning upon it, it seems to work, so I'll never claim I'm clinically depressed. I just am pretty certain I have some kind of depression, and knowing that already makes me less scared. It's like when I found out what anxiety actually is. I was like, oh, so those couple of times when I had a university exam and I thought I was going to die, that was an anxiety attack / panic attack, somewhere in that gradient. And I've always said, like, once I understood that that's a term for that stuff, I was like, I feel less frightened now, because that was part of what was making it worse, was I was like, what's happening? I guess it's because I'm so stupid that I'm... that I'm having a manic episode. It must be because I'm stupid. Because that, you know, obviously that was just like a bunch of contextual self-loathing, filling in the gaps of ignorance because I had no idea what was going on. Yeah, Verspringen, we were just talking about that in the Discord at some point today. I was talking about how I feel it is... I talked about this in the lobby in TFCon for a bunch of Monday, but like... my whole belief that like it's actually really worth doing, like, you know, a regular, if not even annual, kind of just self-check-in introspective diagnostic of like, where are we at right now? Where's gender at? Where's sexuality at? Where's, you know, just general everything? Where are we at? Because I think it's very healthy. Like, I don't really have any changes happen as a result of it for the most part. I just think it's a healthy thing to do, and it, you know, helps normalize stuff for folks who do end up finding changes. Oh, Verspringen, you're always welcome back in, because you put a coin in the slot once, so you know, it's always open. Yeah, Robot Lorekeeper, that's kind of what I was doing. Like, quote, you know, symptom sounds relatable, never hurts to just start using the same coping mechanisms you would use if you knew for sure. Yeah, because I was like, the coping mechanisms were mostly internal, right? And I was like, well, it's not like I'm just going to London Drugs or Shoppers Drug Mart and going like, give me those pills, you know? I was like, it was a mental exercise thing, so I was like, well, I mean, I could just do this anyway. Robo Lorekeeper, quote, I do not medically have any justification that my mood is worse in the winter, but I do feel a lot better if I go outside in the daylight and take vitamins. Yeah, like, I know I always feel better, if I go take a walk. Unless the weather is really bad. And then that's probably contributing to something. But, like, I always, if I have the clarity to do it, I always know that if I go out and just walk down the street and back, I will somehow feel better in some way. Just like I always feel better when I go out to do social things, even when I kind of don't want to, because that's how my brain is I actually get, as long as I know someone who's there and everyone is, like, happy and excited to interact with someone they don't know, I find, like, yeah, those kind of social situations actually really energize me and make me love being alive and etc. And I mean, that's very specific, and I know that is absolutely not the way some people feel about social situations like that. Yeah, Verspringen, even, like, yeah, the taking a shower thing. I know, like, I have that depression thing sometimes when I have no reason to leave the house. I will sometimes sit there going, like, why even take a shower? Why does it matter? And then if I actually then go take a shower, I'm like, yeah, I should go clean the dishes in the sink. I should write that email I meant to do. I should go out and get some groceries. Oh, Simeon Scott, did you get comment blurbed by the bot for using an actual word? Nuts. Hey, Decepticitty. Yeah, walking is awesome for decompressing the day. Yeah. Like, one of my goals this year is to start going to do strength training at a gym, because I already have ways of doing cardio with my incredibly long walks I tend to go for. At a certain pace, good walking pace is, you're able to talk, but you're too out of breath to sing. That's when you know you're walking at a good cardio pace. That's what they taught me at the diabetes clinic. But I was told, like, if I do strength training, that really helps with how your body, processes insulin. So my next big hump I'm trying to get over is going to a gym to talk to a trainer to get given a, plan. That's part of the reason why when it was asked several times in the Discord, hey, can we have a general, like, body health channel? I was like, okay, because I like the joke of it being in the V-Build channel, but also having a dedicated channel means I get to check in and see folks in there taking better care of themselves. Yeah, the Meat Plot channel. And then it makes me more inspired to, like, take another baby step forward of, like, I need to also do this. Yeah, the base YouTube one, I actually double-checked this about a week ago. I have the box that says heavier moderation unchecked. And the word filter is only problem-specific stuff I put in there, which are not words any of y'all are using in your regular. I'm not going to say what any of it is, but, like, it's not, like, it's not the basic stuff you think. It is very specific stuff. But, like, I don't know why sometimes it go. Like, my only theory for this bot, because it did it to me in someone else's stream once, I think the bot is reflexive, and it's not always looking at all lines. I think sometimes something triggers it to fixate on a user and start more heavily moderating single users at a time. Because I think violence words are an activator for it, but it's all extremely unscientific as far as, or unmathematic, I should say. It's scientific, yeah, it's a computer science thing. But it's very unmathematic. It's not like a hard math, a hard, like, 0-1 binary. It's friggin' weird. But yeah, that's why sometimes you can say balls, and sometimes you say balls and it's like, what are you talking about? Because it's staring at you, basically. The Discord, yeah, the Discord is patrons and members only. It's a security thing for me. Once you've been a patron or a member once, you put your coin in the slot, then you can just hang out in there. It's just like one level of me not wanting to have a giant Discord full of people that has to be moderated. There's other security steps involved. But I never try to sell the Discord as like, you gotta join the conversation, because like most of the conversations in there I have here too, and on Blue Sky. I don't do anything like hyper exclusive in there. I just don't like having an open Discord because I know too many friends who had them, and they either got out of hand, or there are roving groups of malcontents who look for open Discords to go in and poop all over the floor. And I don't like moderating, so I don't want to have to do any of that work if I don't have to. I aim to have a low user count on my Discord. Verspringen, like, I'll poke me somewhere. Poke me somewhere. Because that's easy enough to sort out. I can't remember which socials we were connected on. But poke me somewhere. They got private messages on Blue Sky now, so like that's doable. Yeah, Zimman, it is mathematical but not linear. That's right. But yeah, like I can even show you I can show you the Discord rules. I shared them on here before. I like my rules. I wrote them when we went over like 20 users, and I was like, well, there should be rules now. Oh, wait. Discord's so weird about screen sharing. I gotta go find the picture. I took a picture of them for someone who was doing their own Discord, so I wanted to show them. Where is it? Oh, I didn't save it? Oh, I know where to get it from. Oh, right! I opened it in a browser from where I had sent it. That's what I did. Because all of that is easier than saving a JPEG. Obviously! We all know this. This is science that is agreed upon by the community. We know this. Hang on. I'll just do it the silly way again, because that is actually easier. Okay, it's this. Right. There they are. There's the Discord rules. There's my little baby. Yeah, on Blue Sky, I'm just vangelist.bluesky.bobs, whatever. Now they're doing that like pseudo Mastodon thing of like, oh, you can change the dots after your name, but I was like, I don't care. But yeah, those are the Discord rules. They are very much written from the perspective of I hate moderating. So I just wrote them. I wrote them to be unfair and highly biased because it's my Discord. I can do what I want. And I think moderating for small communities works better when it is incredibly biased and not entirely fair and very vibes based. It's kind of a I think it's a necessity in a small community that you're not trying to, like, stuff full of people. Stuffing a community full of people means you have to pay for moderators, in my opinion. You can't rely on volunteer moderators if you have, like, thousands of users. I think you gotta pay for moderators at that point. If you want it to be a thriving community that you can still participate in. If it's just gonna be a noise wall, then whatever. But I don't want to make a noise wall. I mumbled that. I do not want to make a noise wall. Okay, Verspringen, you said... Okay, I'll once the stream is done, I'll go take a look and... etc., etc. Simeon Scott, this month I made the budgeting decision to stay in the Discord while still paying and leave another server because the creator who ran it kept saying they would kick anyone who wasn't paying anymore. That's bonkers to me because, like... Okay, it's valid to have a server that requires continued membership. That's fine. That's just not how I want to do it because that's more complicated. However, if that's the way you want to do it, you can just tie the Discord access to Patreon. There is a back-end system to do that, I believe, because I've seen parts of it, and it made me say, this is too complicated, I don't want to bother. So... There's no reason to, like, tell people to leave or that they're gonna get kicked out. Either it'll happen automatically, or if you want it to be that way, friggin' go get the bot to do it and stop yelling at people. Oh, for springing, I tried to, I tried it. I think I put it in here, didn't I? Or did I only? I thought I've been trying to be louder about that. That like, it's a coin slot on the door. I need to add it to the rules. It's not actually in the rules, is it? Yeah, I can add it to the bottom, I think. I'm gonna do that later tonight. But yeah, like that's my general thing is like, I mostly just want a lock on the door so it's harder to get in because it means that it's more chill. That's about it. I do have one more layer of small security, just in case someone like gets like uber hacked and also puts a coin in the slot because the bot can do that. But yeah, that's my general thing. And like I'm not like opposed to booting someone out of a Discord either. It's just, thankfully, I feel like people are pretty good right now at, you know, if anything gets a little bit harsh, they follow the rules, they, you know, take it elsewhere, or they sort it out, you know? Yeah, like, there's a way to auto-do it through Patreon. It's just, I think that's for a tighter business model of a Patreon, whereas mine is still more of a tip jar. That's, or not even, I don't know if tip jar is the right word, but like, I don't run my Patreon / YouTube membership as a tight business model. I just run it as two venues to do direct support. Oh, Lee Calba, plagiarist is also like a messed up word. The GIA in it took me a very long time to process. Verspringen, I am still on per video. I've just been very loud about putting a monthly cap on, because I think per video makes me feel better. But also, I was told by a couple folks that they don't mind it when there are multiple posts because I've yelled about the monthly cap so much. I went to check in the settings, too, at least a couple months back, and everyone seemed to actually set specific caps. So it seemed like that was something everyone was playing, you know, ball with. So I'm like, okay, that's working. That still feels better to me than strict monthly. Yeah, there's no real nice way to remember plagiarists, because it's like... maybe you could work the word page into it, but, like, that's a stretch. Oh, Silhouette. I know that one only because I've written it a bunch for scripts, but I still misplace the H in that now and then. Tip GRs. Just, it's the GIA. I'm just like, where's... Yeah, Silhouette. I think it's also because I sometimes say it like Silhouette, like partly as a bit, but it also helps me remember it. There's one I always get wrong, and I just let spell checker handle it. What was it? I always think I can spell it until I actually type it out. Then I'm like, right, spell checker has to handle this. I think it's another like borrowed French word. What is the background image here? It's just our friend Carnage from famous Netflix series Altered Carbon. Played by Matt Frewer. It's a 2020s era Matt Frewer in heavy makeup. Here, I'll show you the rest of them. It's your boy Carnage. He's great. Much like Matt Frewer deserves to, he devours the scenery every scene he's in. Because they gave him makeup where he just stares at the camera like a creep, and I'm like, nah, it's perfect. I think Carnage was mostly in the Anthony Mackie season, because he's very key to the Takeshi Kovacs original body subplot. Yeah, he's Max Headroom. He's born to be a makeup creep. Matt Frewer is one of those guys who should be in more things, and maybe it's... And, like, some will say, should have been in more things, but I think there's still room for a Matt. He's kind of like, he's not Doug Jones at home. He's from the same company that makes Doug Jones at home, but he's like their original property. That's I don't know. This is getting kind of creepy, weird way of defining a human, but Soggy Hamhocks McCanson, played by Matt Frewer, would be a dream. Oh, he does great voice work. Yeah. Oh, also, I do share these as well because, hey, anyone can make a Discord. So if you are making, like, a Discord for your friends or for your art projects or whatever, I like to share these just as, like, hey, do you want inspiration on how you can write rules without having to think about it too much? This is just like, hey, here's an idea. You don't have to write them this way, but if they help. I have been told that this helped at least one person write rules for their own Discord, so, like, Ayo. Did a good deed. Original versus cheddar flavor goldfish Doug Jones. Ooh, I was about to say, okay, this is how my brain just worked. Like he's what's-his-name Freddy. And I was like, oh, do you mean the voice actor of Five Nights at Freddy's Freddy? Kane Hodder. And I was like, no, Kane Hodder is Jason Voorhees, not Five Nights at Freddy's. But you mean Freddy Krueger. That's Robert Englund. That's who that is. I don't know why I went to Five Nights at Freddy's. Nor why that jumped me to Kane Hodder. Sometimes you just go on journeys. Alan Weaver, what is original flavored goldfish if not cheddar? Meat. That's right, 5 degrees of Freddy bacon. Yeah, I watched clips from the Five Nights at Freddy's movie when the animatronics were in it, and they were gorgeous. They were fantastic. Every time Jim Henson's Creature Shop gets hired to do something, they friggin' knock it out of the park, and then people go like, that's so great. Anyway, we want to hire 15 subcontracted VFX companies for our next piece. And I'm just always like, they're right there. They're right there. Yeah, they were great they were such good one-to-ones of bad CGI that they were the most frightening I've ever found the Five Nights at Freddy's designs to ever look. Because I was like, you actually just make those things to that degree of quality and you light them in dark lighting? And you get decent suit actors who can move creepy and like... Whoa! Yeah, Zimman knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, I didn't pay to watch it. I just saw clips on YouTube. I don't really touch the Scott Cawthorn that sticky film that gets left on all his stuff. I watched like a couple of the animatronic scenes, and I watched the ending, and I was like, well, that's neat. And then I read like that I watched all the good bits, and I was like, oh, well, go me. I did it. All by myself. I still really want to watch the Nick Cage movie that was kind of a Five Nights at Freddy's knockoff, but because of the quality of the actor, it apparently sky vaulted itself straight past that odious beginning into something more culty and fun. Yeah, the sticky film of Scott Cawthorn donating to hate groups, the gooey, sticky, the unfun gloop. It's not gack, it's spit. Imagine the Jim Henson people doing a Power Rangers, just getting to do like a robo-centric tokusatsu thing. Like some of the mech stuff that was in that Dark Crystal Netflix series was like so freaking cool. The Hunter Skeksis, whatever suit, whatever you want to call it. That thing was like, that was tokusatsu neuron activating when I watched that thing. I was like, when were you able to do this? There weren't literal mechs, but, like, there was mech stuff in the Dark Crystal show, is what I would say. Not, like, literally everyone's riding around in mechs, but just there was, like... I don't know how else to put it. There was, like, mech vibe in things. That show was so unceremoniously thrown out to die that I think even if Netflix purges it, it has to have been ripped to oblivion by a lot of angry people who liked it. Mech adjacent, there you go. Because I will say, when it comes to, like, ethics about violence and stuff, I understand, but the Hunter Skeksis was really terrifying. Like, that thing... If you haven't seen it, I might be overselling it a bit, but, like, when that thing appears and was doing stuff, I have never popped that hard for practical special effects in a long frigging time. Like, it was so friggin' cool. Ronnie Lane with the big brain quote, pulling this one right out of the ether here, assembling this with surgical precision. It's interesting, quote, it's interesting when you have a legacy company and a creative legacy. Yeah, it's so neat. It's a shame it's impossible, I guess. It's not impossible. I had this was another conversation I had at TFCon. Like, even when the industry is at its lowest, it means that art will find a way. It might not be as cool as we thought it was, or as cool as we want it to be, but it will find a way. And everything is in cycles when it comes to creativity, because that's just, it's a thing humans do, is be creative. So, even in the darkest of times in the media industry, I believe that there will be a cycle that eventually hits another peak, and in the journey towards that peak, there will be small gains, like maybe more small projects, maybe more solo projects, but those will become names that we know and follow. Those names will work together on collaborative projects, and if we reach another peak, they may become names that are now working in that new version of the industry. That's why, like, I get mad about stuff, but, like, I still believe there's plenty of hope for basic human creativity. That's why, like, I talked about this on that panel I just posted. Also, please go watch it. If it gets 500 views, I'll feel so happy. But, like, it's a thing my mom really instilled in me heavily, is that, like, change is inevitable and it's really exciting, even though it's pretty scary and can be really, 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 really scary. It's also inherently very exciting, and either way, it's inevitable, so it's gonna happen anyway. And so for me, to dip into the mythos of Gao Gai Gar Final, I like to think of it as an analog to the statement that you can't have creation without first destruction. That's why destruction is actually hope and Yusha. Well, thanks for watching it, Simi and Scott. I had a crummy brain evening the other night, and part of it was, like, family saying, like, oh, that panel was really great. I'm sure lots of people are looking at it, and I was in bad brain, so I was like, not even 400 people have looked at it. No one looks at panels. I make them for me. But then I went and dealt with my brain, and I went to bed early, and then I woke up in the morning today. And then I actually achieved constructive things, and I ran some errands. Granted, half the errands were getting toys, but that's still errands. For Springen, I haven't watched Geets, Gotchard, or Gav. Wait, no! I can't have watched Gav! It's not out yet! I almost got tricked. But they are absolutely a Gao Gai Gar psyop, yes. Emperor Nova, that does count. No, people on YouTube who look at my channel generally just don't have much interest in not streams, interest in panels and interviews. It's just that's been a classic thing. It's been that way since like 2011. Panels and interviews never really get a high view count on my channel. I just aggressively post them anyway because, quote, I do what I want, end quote, is whereabouts I am. Oh yeah, the first 3 episodes of Gav like leaked because of I didn't really get it clear how that happened, but I mean, I have no excuse for not watching Geats yet because I was like, I'm gonna wait until I can get the Blu-rays, and then they put the whole thing up for free like I thought they were going to anyway. I just haven't made time. I haven't made time to watch things is my problem. That's been a problem outside of Tokusatsu. That's been a general just like me problem, is like I spend a lot of times going like I don't feel like watching narrative, and then suddenly I'll binge watch something and then I'll go straight back to like I just don't feel like watching narrative. So I'm also out of date with Ultraman. I do want to go back and catch up on some of it because I had fun when I peeked in on some of the more recent shows, but I only really fully watched Ultraman Z. Everything else I was kind of like dipping in and out or peeking at. Zed was just exactly what I needed when it was there. The nice thing about Tokusatsu stuff is like, I mentioned this in the Maintaining Joy panel. The nice thing about stuff like that is they just keep making it. So whenever I do want to go look at it, I have a cornucopia to pull from. Like, it's only even more rewarding when I'm like, I do feel like watching an entire show. Then I look, I'm like, I got like 8 entire shows I actually do want to watch, all just chilling out and sitting there waiting for me. So that's kind of my approach to a lot of like media now. Like, again, this was something I think I just needed when it was on. Like, I did keep up with Delicious in Dungeon and really liked it. I watched the English dub because it was an extremely well-executed English dub. Perfect example of how you can actually do a good dub. You just have to spend money on it and do a good dub. Like, I don't know how else to put it. I've always been a believer. It was actually the tail end of the Gao Gaigar English dub when I really codified and like became concrete on it, where I was like, dubs can be good, it's just a lot of dubs are treated as jokes on a production level, so they have no money and no time to do anything. You treat a dub like an actual production, usually they'll turn out at least decent, right? That and, like, I also was, this was about 10 or 15 years ago. I was ignorant to the notion that dubs were a big accessibility point, and then it was explained to me, and I was like, no, that makes absolute sense, yeah. So I also am a high-budget, not even high-budget, I'm a proponent of well-produced dubs because they also promote more accessibility for folks. But yeah, I'm never, well, I'm not going to say never, but I'm very rarely a person who doesn't watch a show to make a statement. It's usually just like I don't have like, my brain is not in the position of orbit. It's not at the right sea level where it's like, I want a narrative show. Ultraman Rising is on my to-do list. I do want to watch it. I haven't yet. I've actually been really relaxed because my brief fear that, like, oh no, everyone's gonna say what happens in it, like, didn't happen. So I was like, alright, I can just watch it at my leisure. Hype. I might save it. Netflix is stupid about this, but I might save it for when I'm visiting my mom and / caretaking for her for a couple weeks, and then we can, like, watch it together. Did I watch Cannibal Holocaust? No, the window came and went in my 20s when I had some interest, and then I just kind of read up on it and saw some clips, and I was like, academically, I understand what this film is, but it just never really interested me that much. Yeah, reading subtitles, like I like subtitled stuff. It's just it is not easy for everyone. And also, if the subtitles are delivered poorly, it makes it worse. And that's leaving out the whole thing of, like, also, you know, visually impaired folks. There are folks who simply cannot read something while processing in motion visuals and audio. Like, it doesn't match up very well, or it not so much can't process, but like can't process at length for an entire production. Like, you know, it just doesn't jive. And I'm like, no, it's completely fine. I've been emotionally destroyed by so many movies. Like I'll keep saying it because someone else in one of the streams had seen this. Perfect Days, one of the best movies of the last year. Absolutely worth watching. It's worth anyone's time. It's a movie that's designed to be something that you watch and get up to, and then you pause it, go make a sandwich, come back, sit down, continue it. The movie is like built to just zen you out. Perfect Days and Perfect Days also made me cry like twice. But Perfect Days is so good. Oh, Verspringen, like, Everything Everywhere All at Once actually did a lot to break the barrier down in my brain that was still lingering of, like, can't cry in front of people. Because I saw that movie twice, and the second time I saw it with a friend of mine, and I was just like, yeah, this is happening. I was just like, I was wearing a mask, and my mask was soaking wet by the end, and I was just like, yep, that'll just happen. I thought I went in going like, I'm sure now that I've seen it once, I know all the beats. And then I saw a completely new beat in the opening 30 seconds because I connected it to the ending of the film, and I was like, whatever. That's just how this movie is for me. It's my emotional check-in movie. Oh yeah, I've seen parental trauma films that have really messed me up. They mess me up whether or not the parent is watching it with me. I just let it happen. It's like the balancer is my mom like just doesn't really cry at movies at all. She'll tear up in movies. I should be fair. She'll tear up in movies, but like she doesn't like get as emotionally affected in the eyes the way I do. But also lots of movies can get me to tear up. Like if you just deliver a really passionately you deliver an eager and passionate scene with the right tones, and it will get me to start like welling up. And it's to me it's just like, all right, quality movie. Even like sometimes a cornball, you know, thing will get me to tear up if it's done like eagerly and just the right way. Like even a rote heroic self-sacrifice scene can get me if it's done with just like the right ingredients. I'm just like, no, you hit me. You hit me. Yeah, Simeon's Deadpool and Wolverine got me for one part. Totally got me because they delivered on a sequence in the right way, and I was like, no, okay, you're going full emotion. Sick. Do it. Let's go. Deadpool and Wolverine, full shame. I did actually like make a point to go out and see because I was fairly certain if I didn't, YouTube's recommendation algorithm would spoil the film for me. And I got home, and I was right. A whole lot of the film in crummy quality is all over YouTube. Because people can't pause and compartmentalize and have another hobby. Like if you are considering seeing it but you're kind of on the fence, I will say that it was surprisingly heartfelt and very specifically heartfelt about non-MCU films in a way that I found rather endearing. It's nothing overt. It's nothing, you know, earth-shaking. There's no, like, cinematic universe status quo changes because of kind of stuff. It's just, it has a completely meta, non-fictional, and extremely endearing kind of like love and fuzzy feeling for the non-MCU Marvel Comics films that have ever existed. And I was not expecting that. I was expecting that if that subject was going to be broached, it would be done sardonically and in a way that would kind of bum me out. But it was kind of the opposite. So I was like, hey, that was pretty fun. It's extremely Ryan Reynolds Deadpool. There's a whole lot of there were plenty of moments wherein I was like, I understand why this is the thing they're doing. In fact, I think the bit is that they're doing it in a way that's making me annoyed, and I think that's the point. And I kind of respect that part. It's not as blunt as it sounds the way I'm putting it. I don't want to get too much into the nuance because the film is still only like a week old. So, but yeah, like as the film that is bridging other studios to the MCU or whatever, you know, it does so in a way that cares more about. It's weird. It does so in a way that cares more about film than Marvel movies tend to, but also I would say it's a bit of a No Way Home in that it's more of an expression of a bunch of fairly simple and eager ideas than an actual film-shaped film. But I think I liked it more than No Way Home. And I have room for those kind of expressions in that medium. I just always like to be clear of what it is, I guess. Also, yeah, for Springin, like, I'm similar. Like, quote, it's good when people like things even when I myself don't. Like, it's so fine. Also, when I saw Deadpool and Wolverine, here's what I'll say. I saw an afternoon showing. There were toddlers in the audience. And at a certain point, one of them started crying and kind of was just crying for the rest of the movie. And I was kind of sitting there going like, I understand how a parent was put in a position where perhaps this is the thing to do. But take your child out of the film. Your child is clearly distressed by the film. Eat the loss, eat the ticket, take your child out of the film. They audibly don't want to be here anymore. Like, it was really... Like, when I was going in to see it, I saw toddlers walking out with their parents, and I was just... Not toddlers, I guess. These were more like school children. But I was still kind of like, look, my mom took me to see The Crow when it came out, and I was a K-12. Like, I get it. I was a K-7, I think. But, like, you gotta play it case by case. I'm sure some of these kids were fine. One of the little kids I saw coming out of it seemed pretty hype. And I'm like, okay, sick. Nice. But, like, if your kid starts actually crying and sounds really upset that they're watching the movie, at a certain point, I was kind of like, I think that the parent wants to watch the movie still. And at that point, I'm like, dog, like, buy another ticket. Your kid sounds really upset. Yeah, I don't think, like, yeah, I don't know if it was literally, like, a 3-year-old, and they may not remember it at all, right? But, like, in the moment, it's still, like, your kid's, like, not happy. Like, part of the agreement, especially when your kid is young enough to be crying in a theater in distress like that, part of the agreement is you're supposed to treat your kid being that upset as a negative to be solved. And hey, maybe they were, I don't know. This was all behind me, right? So, like, whatever. But it definitely kind of stuck out to me as kind of like, I don't think you should have taken your kid in here and stayed in here. That seems kind of messed up, but... I never address people named Doug by name like that. I will always call them Douglas. That's not true. But I do say dog a lot. I try to pronounce the W so it sticks out more. Yeah, I don't think I saw Terminator or Terminator 2 in theaters. Just Crow was definitely one of the R-rated movies I saw as an elementary school kid, and it didn't mess me up. I just discovered at school that, like, I didn't have many people to talk to about it because it turns out a lot of people weren't allowed to see it. And I was like, huh, maybe I should keep that a little close to the chest. Maybe I should keep that a little on the down low next time. Not just go to school and go like, I saw gore today! Am I trying to be from Georgia? No, I'm just having a vernacular. I don't know who Mr. Dink is, but I'm sure that he's a very advanced and respectable scholar. I went on a tangent. I was actively going like, I'm gonna not talk about the Deadpool movie because I want to leave people to see it themselves. But y'all seem pretty cool with stuff, so hey, whatever. Oh, the neighbor from Nickelodeon's Doug. Right. Mr. Dink is purple. Yes, I remember now. I don't remember a lot of Doug, which is messed up because it was in a time slot where there was at least 6 months where I know I watched a lot of Doug. But then I didn't for a much longer time. Isn't it weird how that just get flushed? Like, right out? What even are these moments we're having? Like, how are we all gonna remember that this happened? I had my camera again. Rugrats, I did, how do you put this? Process more. But I think it's because, like, at the time I, like, could see the talent that was working on Rugrats. And then when I learned that, like, it was the Aeon Flux guy, and Aeon Flux was his expression after working on Rugrats for so long, he was like, I want Aeon Flux to be the anti-Rugrats. And if you think of Aeon Flux as the anti-Rugrats, it makes it a much more interesting show. Like, it's nothing against Rugrats. It's just like the dude was like, I'm so tired of animating babies. I want to animate anti-babies. And thus, Aeon Flux was born, the anti-baby Aeon Flux. Once I start talking, it's like when I start talking about Cyber 6. When I get into Cyber 6 or Aeon Flux or Survive Style 5 Plus, there aren't enough seatbelts in the car. It's not your fault, it's mine. Aeon Flux also had a live-action movie that was real bad. Specifically a bad Aeon Flux movie, except for my headcanon of what the movie is. I figured out a way for the Aeon Flux live-action movie to have merit artistically. And then I was kind of hoping that, like, maybe that was the intent, and then it was confirmed that was absolutely something I made up. It was not the intent at all. But basically, if you've ever seen the Aeon Flux live-action movie, the way that it has vague artistic merit is if you watch the movie having seen all of the Aeon Flux animated pieces, the live-action movie is a dream that animated Trevor Goodchild is having, because Trevor Goodchild thinks that that's the perfect world, and he thinks that that's what he's like. Because in the live-action movie, Trevor Goodchild is inexplicably a protagonist for the most part. Just a straight-up protagonist for most of the movie. He's not in most of Aeon Flux. He's a sort of semi-protagonist, semi-antagonist. The whole point is that he doesn't really occupy that role, clearly, and he thinks very highly of himself. So, what better explanation is there for the weird delivery of live-action Aeon Flux the movie, then the whole thing is a dream that actual Trevor Goodchild is having. Oh yeah, Aeon Flux was the same era as the Max. They both came out of Liquid Television, I believe. Aeon Flux was actually way more shorts-oriented for the OG Liquid Television, but Aeon Flux, the series, and the Max and the Head were all kind of the same era. Now, the Head... that was one of my big moments post-high school when I found out they made more The Head. It wasn't as good, but still, it was more The Head. Ronnie Lane, I probably should play music to start heading off myself. Oh, Lee Calba, that's what I meant. That's what I meant. Aeon Flux started as a series of shorts. It became a series. The Max was maybe a pilot, but it was always pretty much 30-minute episodes. The Head, I believe, had shorts capability, but was recut to be 30-minute pieces regardless. The Head is an actual, like, narrative show. Like, Aeon Flux's shorts literally involve her dying at the end of pretty much all of them. So they are, you know, not really a narrative thing. It's more of an artistic thing. There is a weird way that through the video game specifically, and one episode of the actual Aeon Flux, like 30-minute series, you can invent a canon for all of Aeon Flux, but you do it for fun. You don't do it to, like, tell people that's how it worked. You do it for fun if you have fun doing that. Oh! Okay, Verspringen. No, I mean, I think it's just literally Trevor Goodchild having a dream. It's not like him seeing the world differently. It's him having a dream informed by how he sees himself as the hero of his world. Which is a fairly regular quality he has, as I recall, from the 30-minute Aeon Flux episodes. Because in the Max, it is, like, more of an active, like, you're actively seeing the waking world. You know. You're seeing the Outback and stuff. Back in the year 2001... if the posts were not gone, you would have seen Baby Me from 2001 being unbelievably hype that the voice of Mr. Gone was going to be playing Scourge / Black Convoy in Robots in Disguise. Because at the time, I was so sure that the voice of Mr. Gone would overcome whatever, you know, dub jank was going on with Robots in Disguise. And then he only sounded like Mr. Gone the first time he said Scourge transform, and then from that point onwards, he was just talking like this all the time! Because he's Scourge, the Decepticon! And I was like, oh. It wasn't as cool as I thought it was going to be. Oh, and anytime I'm more than 5 years before now, I just call that Baby Me. That's... But no, I'm a 1984 kid. But I don't know, whatever. I developed in a way where I'm just perpetually a vaguely immature whatever I am. I just try to carry myself as well as I can. I used to be a lot more hung up on a decade drop because I spent most of my teens being terrified of turning 30. But then turning 30 was fine. So this birthday hasn't really spooked me as hard as, like, probably it should, psychologically. I've had my moments where I'm like, oh, man. But for the most part now, I kind of see it as, like, more, again, excitement. I'm kind of like, hey, let's go for it. Because my worry was, like, you're not supposed to like things after 30. Because, like, you know, I was born in 84, so I had all the culture going, like, you know, I had the what is it? I was there for the 40-year-old virgin to drop in theaters and etc. Uh, but like whatever, 30s were fine. I'm the main reason I'm bummed out about hitting another decade is only because of the early 2020s feeling like they were taken away from me. But then I just remind myself they were taken away from like literally everybody. So it sucks, but I can apply that to any age number range of about 3 or 4 years. And everyone lost one of the, like, early, mid, late of whatever decade they were occupying. If not even crossing a decade while being, stuck in all of that. So it kind of just made me feel better about it. Yeah, I mean, you'll have, minor anxieties will be around, but, like, the nice thing is, as long as you don't create stigma about what you're supposed to do that you haven't, then it is, like, as the phrase goes, it is just a number. And it is actually a rank of how much life experience you have to build upon, which can be very helpful, even if your life experience isn't precisely what you want it to be. Everything here about your 30s, it is your 20s, but you're more laid back. That was kind of what it was like. That's kind of what it was like for me. And the thing I'm thinking though is like, I think that's what it was like for people who went through it and could describe it. When you go through it, it's going to be different because it's going to be you going through it, X years later. And that's not meant to be scary. It's just like, it could be even better. I think the main thing I have to do, once I cross the 40 threshold, and I already do this anyway, but like once you cross the 40 threshold, just be careful how many teenagers I interact with on the internet. I don't know. I already try to keep that, on the down low already as much as possible. I never will say like, don't talk to me. It's just like, I try to say be aware of the power dynamic and don't put yourself in these situations if you can avoid it. If you're watching a stream and you're in the chat, that's fine. It's just like when it comes to like conventions, for instance, as time goes on, you have to be a little more aware of like if someone comes up to talk to you, and obviously being someone who is streaming and posting YouTube videos and podcasts, it's more likely to happen to me than perhaps some of the folks who are watching, right? Like that's probability science. But like for instance, if someone is like demonstrably highly underage, I kind of look for parents if someone is really demonstrably underage, because I'm like, you should probably not walk up to a random YouTuber, because some YouTubers demonstrably or YouTubers, streamers, etc., demonstrably could take disgusting advantage of that power dynamic. And I said this a couple streams ago, but it's like, if you don't know me personally, right? You just watch this stuff, right? But you don't know me personally. You should assume that I'm a risk, because you don't know me personally. And there is a creator to audience power dynamic that exists, even if it's a small one in my case. So you should be on guard as a rule. I hope that I don't fulfill that risk, and I hope that I make it clear that at least I think I carry myself as being generally safe to be around, but I would highly recommend that even if you have watched a lot of stuff I made, if you've never met me in person, even if you have a couple times, like, don't just assume, alright, he's clean, right? Like, and that's not me alluding to dark secrets, but it's just like, it should be a general rule, right? Like, you kind of, and then, once you're in your 30s, 40s, or whatever, then, like, whatever. That's going to be more about the power dynamic than, like, probably some of the creepier stuff. But sometimes I do kind of, like, blink at, like, I was on the internet a lot in high school, but, like, I was on an internet that was slower. The speed of the current internet, sometimes I kind of blink a little bit at how young some kids who are actively posting in comment sections and in text chats demonstrably are. And again, like, I try not to, like, harp on it too much, because, like, whatever, I broke the rules when I was a kid all the time. But, like, I feel like there are more danger vectors simply by the fact that there's more faster internet. I don't know. So just in general, I've restated this a few times recently because it was on my mind for obvious disrespectful reasons. But I just try to maintain, like, a kind of safe vibe, and then, like, on the Discord, I try to maintain a certain level of, like, we've never had bad risk in there so far, but, like, you know, it always could happen. I try to keep an eye out if anyone ever seems to be creeping. I try to make it clear, like, if someone is creeping in the Discord especially, just tell me. I will hurl them out a window. I will hit the eject button. But, like, I try to maintain, like, a safe atmosphere around me, but it's through my own vision, right? So people gotta have the skill set. It's kind of an unfortunate side of the world we're in now, but, like, you gotta have a little bit of a self-preservation skill set. Yeah, Face, like, nothing untoward's happened in the Discord. I just always keep a little idle process running in my head of, like, always be ready. Like, it helps it in the Discord, like, we're literally, what, like, maybe there are some people who are, like, mid to late 20s at the youngest, but, like, that's it. So, like, you know, it's not Dangerville. And that's also another reason why I have the coin slot on the door, is I assume it's not easy for underage kids to pay for a YouTube membership or buy a Patreon thing. But if I find out, I'll handle it. I just kind of assume that's gotta be harder to do than, you know. Yeah, Simeon Scott, like, you're in prime youngin range on the. That sounds really screwed up. I should not say prime youngin range. That's absolutely messed up. Yeah, it's also another low key process I run in my head. Is if I ever fall down a real bad brain path, I don't want to make it other people's problems. Just reading about the John Mulaney stuff. It's like, I often, when I have a really bad brain day, often one of my instincts is like, I don't want to make this someone else's problem. And I hope that maintains if it were ever to become, like, a wider issue. I don't think it will. But I like to kind of be prepared. It's like the self-diagnostic thing. I like to at least, like, accept and recognize awful possibilities, even if they are highly unlikely to happen, so that I'm not ever blindsided should anything weird happen. For Springer, no, I'm almost 29. Call 27, prime, young, and range, please. Nope! Request denied. I'm gonna play the music now. I'm gonna go line up the two tracks. Request denied. With kindness. Bionicle? Strange 4, what's up? I was hoping someone would remember the Bionicle bit. For those who don't know, at the panel for the 2003 news dives, during the Q&A, there was a certain point where people would come up and say I was XYZ in the year 2003, and I 3 times in a row, because it's funny to do it in Rule of 3, I was able to go like, Bionicle? And then they were like, yeah. And then the fourth person who came up was demonstrably either my age or older, if I recall correctly. But I still said Bionicle, because I was like, there's nothing funnier than the rule of three, except breaking it when you know that it's going to stop. And that made me happy. That was a good time. Never look up your life expectancy. I mean, I agree with that, because how do you put it? Freddy Krueger could just invade your dreams whenever he wants to if your parents messed with him that night on Elm Street. Negative 18? Negative 18? Yeah. No, 18! There we go. Hey! Well, we're gonna go down to negative 21. I remember this was a problem last time. Hey! Thanks for checking out that stream. For springing under 30. Bionicle. Is it playing super loud now? I turned it down to 21 because 18 was too loud. I'll go to 24. It's at 24 now. Thanks to all of you for watching. Obviously, on Tuesday I'm heading out west for several weeks. Nothing bad, but it's what I've talked about before with my mom, is having some heavy medical treatment, and there is a period where she needs some help with folks both house sitting and, or in my case, doing the caretaker thing, which is mostly just being present. During that, I'm not sure if streaming is possible, but I'm going to try to film a bunch of stuff before I go, and then during the first week I'm there, when I'm not caretakering, and then, you know, in my downtime, ideally, I can still edit together and post some stuff. I'm just pretty sure I can't do stream. I mentioned this to my mom, and she was like, I'm sure we can figure something out. And I was like, I'm not streaming from medical-related facilities. I refuse. There is a level of disrespect involved in that I can't process. I know that you're helping, but no! So we'll figure something out. I might still do a stream, like, next week, while I'm in the house, but I'm gonna play it by ear. Nothing guaranteed. Speaking of nothing guaranteed, there's no guarantee that we're gonna hit 4 hours and 20 minutes. We ain't ever making it that far! We're almost done! Thanks, Face Forward, for the gifted subs.
Let them come.